Listen up, Dungeon Masters. Your players are falling asleep at the table. What? Your wizard is going to use catapult to throw rocks at a monster again? How about instead of that, the wizard covers their body in rocks and hurls themselves? Now you're thinking like a badass using Battlezoo Bestiary, Elemental Storm. Filled with over 150 innovative elemental monsters, new elemental spells, and the monster parts system, allowing you to craft weapons, armor, and magic items from the creatures you slay, infusing elemental magic into them with 20 unique elements. Sure, there's classics like air, earth, fire, and water, but there's even weirder elements like music, space, and time. Doctor Who, Doctor You.
Wait, I'm a player, not a dungeon master. Why should I give a
Well, Yahtzee, how about a brand new character archetype, the Monster Hunter? Climb on creatures, target specific body parts, and weaken them. Or just grab a small monster and use their attacks against the big one.
Ooh, you sold me at big ones.
Best of all, this archetype can fit along any class. Fighter Monster Hunter? Duh. Monk Monster Hunter? Sure. Wizard Monster Hunter? Well, it'll set the difficulty up, but go right ahead. Elemental Storm is filled with over 250 pages packed with stunning illustrations, detailed rules on the monster parts system, and so much more for your Pathfinder 2e and D&D 5th edition games. Click on the link below or head on over to kickstarter.rollforcombat.com to secure your copy of Battlezoo Bestiary Elemental Storm today, and turn your table from slow and crunchy to fast and furious.
Hello, look, we're live! Yay! And we got Kelsey on, finally, the busiest person on earth. You think I'm busy? I'm an amateur. Kelsey.
Well, this is not an exaggeration. She is flying out of the continent in like a few hours, but we got her in like, that is how tight her schedule is.
That's right. Her schedule is so tight she had to fit us in between like dealing with ShadowDark things and flying to Europe.
I just think it's because I'm inefficient. I think that you're far more good at using your time, so I just make everything take longer than it should.
That could be true. That could be true.
Yeah.
It's like I'm not busy. I'm inefficient.
That's really what it is, to be honest.
So I do have to point out is that I have brought this out every single time. Everyone's
Yes.
jealous.
Even Steven brags about that
Everyone's
more
jealous.
than his Jeremy Crawford signature player's handbook. Not that he hasn't bragged multiple times about both. So you should know that, Kelsey, is that he thinks more of that book.
Ooh, I'm so honored. It's a special and rare little thing. So I'm glad you have it.
Yes, I was just using it the other day. I was looking things up in it. I was like, oh yes, look at that. It works as a book too, not just a bragging weight.
Yeah. It can do both. It can be a door stopper, and you can use it to play games.
So
You can defend yourself like you did with, was it Jewel of the Indigo Isles when the most wanted FBI guy came to your door, Steven?
Actually, it was going to be the Pathfinder rules I was going to use.
The Pathfinder rules.
Oh my god. Just
Yeah.
slam somebody in the face.
Or it's just like a bullet, like the book is so thick, a bullet probably wouldn't penetrate all the way to the end of the Pathfinder rules.
No, that's what it was for.
Yeah.
That's what it was for.
Just wear one on the front and back with like straps, and you'll be safe wherever you go. Yeah.
Kind of. You weren't here, but the long story short is I was playing Pathfinder with my friends. This happened a few months ago, and it's actually recorded. I was streaming live when this happened, and there was police everywhere, and I live next to the highway. And it turns out that there was an escaped fugitive, and everywhere you looked, there was police. And then they calmed down, and this was during the day, and then at night, we were seeing like reports and everything, and then the police started to disappear, and we saw like they kind of went away. And there was FBI here. It was FBI, Secret Service, local police, state police, and helicopters. Okay, that's how much they were looking for this guy. And my wife was driving home and saw one of them and asked them, should we be worried? And they're like, yes. I'm like, oh, okay. And they're like,
Yes,
they're like, close your doors and lock your stuff. And so we're like, okay. So we're sitting here, I'm playing Pathfinder live, and then at like 8:30 or something, the doorbell rings, and we're like, who's that? Now, we are actually at the very end of FedEx and UPS for packages. So we get our packages actually sometimes at like 8:39 because we're literally like the last house. So it's not uncommon. And then we look, and then all of a sudden my wife's like, it's the guy, it's the guy. She's like screaming and yelling, and the door's not locked. She's like, the door's not locked, hurry, hurry. She's like running. And I'm like getting up, and I'm calling the police, and she's calling the police. Actually, she called the police, and then the police had to put her on hold because I was calling on the other line. I was like, who puts someone on hold when you're calling the police? But here's the crazy part, is they were secretly in the area, and the cop car was unmarked across the street. And with it, before he can get off my front lawn, they drove up and arrested him. That's how fast they got him.
You saw the fugitive in your yard. It wasn't like
no, he rang my front door.
Actually...
He rang our front door, and he didn't have shoes on, and I think he was just trying to ask to borrow a phone so we can ask someone to pick him up. And he didn't have a gun with him. There was a gun in the car that he stole, but I was thinking, oh my God, like when this happened, I was looking behind me in my bookshelf. I was like, what's the biggest book I can find? And then I was going to like use it as a weapon.
This is how I defend myself. It's with a book that I wrote.
Yeah, pretty much. It's like, what? I could use Jewel of the Indigo Isle. It's +3 bludgeoning. Yes. So
he would never use his ShadowDark book for that.
No, it's too small.
No, it's it's like the dagger of books. It's very you can like slip it in there and just hit someone in the teeth.
I need a big beefy book. But the cops were here, and oh my God, they were so. They said people never do that. They're always too scared or whatever. Anyhow, the cops loved us, and they were super nice. And then we were like in the paper and everything. Yeah, so we were like the talk of the town. So.
Wow,
and now the cops are good friends, which is always good. It's always good to be friends with the cops. So, anyhow,
it's better to be on good terms with the people who have dangerous things than on bad terms. That's been true since the Dark Ages. So
yeah, I'm always pretty friendly with law enforcement in my neighborhood in general. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's great. It's actually, and then if you watch it, I forgot where it is. It happened live. And so like. The other guys were like, what's going on with Steve? Where is he? Like, we're in the middle of playing, and this is all recorded, and this is all streamed, and then I come back and tell the story, and they're like, what? And it's like, and meanwhile, probably in the background, you can hear craziness going on. I'm like, anyhow, see? There you go.
I have this, like, weird, like, deep-seated, you know how sometimes you can just vividly visualize something going wrong? And I always have this, like, imagining that something weird's gonna happen to me while I'm like on a live stream. Like I'll like choke on my water or like something or like but like something bad enough that it's like you don't want it to happen in front of other people. You know, like
I promise you that statistically it's not gonna be something more extreme than the FBI's most wanted knocking on your door in the middle of your live stream.
That's like peak. How is this happening live? You know?
Okay, man. I told you, my life is crazy. I have a crazy, crazy life. People,
you have so many weird things that have happened to you, but I see. Oh, people are asking such and saying such nice things in the chat.
Oh yeah. Oh, we just broke 100,000 on the Kickstarter.
We did.
Yes.
I hadn't updated. We did it. 100,057. I can finally post that update.
Yes.
That's so wonderful. Good job. Wow, you guys. That's a huge opening right there. Huge.
Yeah, for one day, it's pretty good. Pretty good. Not bad. Wow. So by the way,
published.
Kelsey's only here for another 50 minutes. So if you have any questions, let us know. Super chat. You'll always be answered quickly. But I
saw someone.
Yeah, there were some general questions, but so let's talk about the big one. So we were talking at Gen Con a lot, and we were like, they were like, how many Ennies do you think you're going to win? And then Baron was like, 2. I said 4. I knew you were going to win all 4. But you know what happened, because the first Ennie that's announced is Design. And then when you won Design, that's when I looked at you, and I'm like, that's it. If you won that one, you're going to win all of them, because that was probably... not your weakest category, but the category that I felt could have gone any way. And I was like, once you won that category, I was like, you're winning. You're winning all of them.
That was it. I wasn't sure. And like, this is I didn't think I was going to win best rules because of the people who were on the docket, like who have way bigger audiences than I do. So I guess rules was where I was kind of like, oh my God, like I can't believe the audience showed up like they did. Because it must have been that my audience really showed up, and the bigger audiences might have just been like, oh, we're a shoo-in. I don't have to vote. I don't know. It's hard to guess.
Your audience clearly showed up, and it may be bigger than it might not be as much of a disparity as you think, especially for the very online and very active part of your community. But yeah, Steven was sending me everything, and the moment you won rules, when Paizo was also on there, and to be clear, even getting nominated means you're amazing because the judges have to pick you out of a huge number of very strong candidates. But to win, it is at that point the popularity contest of can you get your people to turn out and vote for you? And can you get other people who lose to like you enough that in ranked choice they will vote you above the other one, right? So it's plausible in that situation that we don't know. Maybe in the first round, ShadowDark already had the most. Maybe in the first round, Pathfinder had the most, but ShadowDark was everyone was like, yeah, but we like this other thing, but ShadowDark is our second choice because we really love it too. But either way, once you won rules, it was clear to me. Steven was sending me. I have the little messages in Discord where I was like, okay, Kelsey's won all of these now, because if you can outvote the Pathfinder block on rules, you're gonna win against everything that's in all the other categories too. You've won product of the year. You've won it all.
That was a moment where I was like, oh my God, we might actually, I think my soul left my body when they said that we beat that. And I was like, wait. I just couldn't. Yeah. So that's when I was like, we might actually win more of these. And that was really weird. It was really weird, but it's the Stingbat army showed up for us.
Especially because we were sitting next to Paizo on top of that.
And I had just met Eric Mona 2 days before. I had just met him. Remember, we went out to dinner.
We went to dinner. Yeah, that's when I introduced you.
That's the first time I met him in person, and I was freaking out about how the adventure paths in Dungeon Magazine was super transformative for me when I was a kid. Age of Worms, dude. That.
What? Are you an Age of Worms fan? That's my favorite adventure of all time. Is Age of Worms. That's all I talk about.
I was obsessed with it as a kid, and and every month waiting for that magazine to come out and being so excited.
I ran Age of Worms. I love Age of Worms. Is amazing.
Yeah, it's so great. So I got to tell him finally, and I was like, I'm sure you hear this all the time, but I love Age of Worms.
Age of Worms.
Did you guys go to St. Elmo's for that?
No, we went to.
I know Eric loves St. Elmo's.
No, we couldn't get in, and we went somewhere else.
Okay.
But it was I forget where we went. I don't know. It was fine.
It was really good. I don't normally even eat steak, and the amount of steak that I ate during that, I leveled up or something because I didn't get sick after the con. Everybody got COVID, and I didn't get COVID.
I didn't get COVID.
And then I got COVID at a casino a week later in Las Vegas.
I caught up to you.
It was the steak. That's why I was strong while I was there.
The meat strength you got.
Yeah.
Maybe it was the Ennies protected you.
The Ennies, you were wearing them everywhere.
The good energy everyone was sending my way saved me from
that was the craziest. So it's me. I don't go to the Ennies, but I do know who wins, and that was actually the first time I ever went. I've watched the video streams, but then me and Professor were just because you won 4. Justin Alexander, won 2, and then Dave won 1. So we had 7 winners at the table that we were at. And Professor and I were like, this will never happen again. This doesn't happen. You don't have 7 people win Ennies sitting in one table.
I think I've seen it happen before one time in the past, but that was because the Shackled City Adventure Path from Paizo one time won in a ton of categories. So it was all just the same thing because it was an adventure path. So it had cartography and it had this and it had that, and it got nominated and then won in all of its categories and got a bunch.
Oh my gosh, it's amazing to see. I think we were joking that the average number of Ennies per person at our table was 0.5 Ennies.
That's pretty good.
It was pretty wild.
We do have some questions. We'll have some announcements in a little while, but here's a few things. First of all,
at least a few that are actually about ShadowDark.
Well, we're going to talk about that. First of all, I'm giving this out to someone free in the chat. So all you got to do is leave a chat and say why you want the book. Because I'm only giving it to someone, because a lot of people say, oh, I don't want the book. Well, then I'm not going to give it to you. So you're going to have to leave a chat and say why you want it, and I'll give it out to you.
So, Steven, Night Noon is going to point out that not only did the table get 7 Ennies, but nobody at the table lost in any category except for to people who were also at the table.
No one lost ever.
There were 6 golds, and Dave got a silver.
No, they won. Dave, they came in first and second. They didn't even lose. They both got Eddies.
Yes, exactly. That's what it was. They both got
lost.
Ennies, but nobody even came in below someone in which
I know.
like in which medal of Ennies they got, except for to someone else who was at the same table as them.
There was a tie this year too. It was pretty crazy.
Wait, there was an exact tie.
Yes, they said it's
so
like never happened.
In ranked choice.
They said it never happened.
I don't know how.
I've never heard of it.
I don't know how it happened, but but I am happy it happened because I was so gunning for Monstrous to get a gold. It was so deserving, and so I'm glad it did.
So ShadowDark will be published in any other languages is one of the questions someone asked.
Yes, but it just takes time. So we're dealing with getting that sorted out legally. Every country has different laws, and every country has different terms, and every particular group that we're choosing to work with, we have to vet, so it takes time.
Okay, so do you want to talk about the Stingbat plushies? Because we have been working. Just see, here's an advantage that Kelsey and I are friends. I know how to make plushies.
It's a secret skill.
For the Eldebron plushies.
It's not that easy. it's a skill.
You actually have to send like schematics with very specific stuff. I know because Steven checked it with me and was like, is this accurate to like the rules mechanics of these creatures?
But we have the technology to make plushies. So
you know all the it's not in like it's so true. It's not easy. Like they have to meet regulations for like toys. They have to have special labeling.
Mm-hmm.
You have to make sure you're working with a manufacturer who can actually deliver. It's like, it's actually really hard. Way harder than a book.
But I made 6. You see, that's the thing, is that I constantly do this, as Mark finds out, is that I'll be like, hey, let's do a Kickstarter and we'll do 6 plushies. And they're like, do you know how to make plushies? And I'm like, nope. And we do the Kickstarter, and then I got to figure it out. Because that is the best way. I've done that my whole life. The best way to learn is to be thrown in the deep end. Because you're going to have to learn one way or the other. And we learned.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, it wasn't that bad.
It will make you rise to the occasion, won't it? When you're like, there's no choice but to succeed. So you have to. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but we do know how to make plushies. We do know I have all the context, I have all the steps, I had all the methodologies, so if she decides to make some Stingbat plushies, we have the methodologies ready. So
thank you. Well, and I think we're going to have to, because we're going to be having a Kickstarter early next year, and I think that'd be the perfect time to throw in some plushie options.
So do you want to talk at all about this Kickstarter? You mentioned a little bit of it on Ian World.
I did. I've been a little bit cagey about saying exactly when, but I think we can say for sure that we're going to be doing a Kickstarter for new Curse Scroll zines in March, and probably some other stuff too, like players options from all of the Curse Scrolls consolidated into sort of a players options book. You know, where we're taking all the first party material and maybe a couple of new things and putting them into like a player option book, and maybe plushies, maybe some other stuff, fancy versions of things. Because if we get the opportunity to make fancy versions, we have to take it. So that'll be the plan. And we're gonna be doing a lot of special events during GaryCon. Like we're working with GaryCon directly this year to make it like a super special ShadowDark GaryCon. So there'll be like special events and things we've never done before at the con, so I'm pumped for that.
Now I have to go. I wanted to go last year. Well, last year was a little tricky, and it was a lot of reasons, and also I didn't know that much. It's one of those, I've heard about GaryCon, but I never went. But it seems like everyone goes to it. It's like, really? So
more and more,
I know,
but there's a couple of folks who haven't gone to it that I'm surprised about. Like, I don't think Baron Narop has gone. I don't think Professor Dungeon Master has been able to go.
Baron went. Baron went last year with Professor.
No, they went to Dave Con.
Oh no, they went to Dave Con. Right.
Yeah,
Not Gary
which is
Con,
also
sorry.
a very worthy con, but I'm like surprised they've never made their way to Gary Con.
Oh right. I keep confusing cons. It's Dave Con, Gary Con, Kelsey Con. Well, when's that going to happen?
Never planned out a Kelsey Con before. The audacity to like name it after yourself. You can only do that once you're dead and someone else arranges the con for you.
Well, I'll ask Baron because he's Mr. Con.
He knows
There you go.
everything now.
Now he can set up a Kelsey con. He's already done one con. What's a second con between friends?
Just change the name and do it again.
That's right. Seriously.
He's funny. Will I be at PAX? I can't be at PAX Unplugged so sadly this year, but Lurking Fears is going to be running lots of professionally managed ShadowDark games on my behalf so that we can have people playing. So definitely sign up for games there because they run like the best games. So
I'll be there. Professor will be there. Bob will be there. Pretty much everyone will be there except Kelsey.
Are you talking about Paige or PAX? Are you guys going to PAX?
Yeah, I always go to
always
PAX.
miss PAX. I'm so sad.
PAX
I always
is
missed
good.
it.
PAX is really good. It's really good.
It's just hard I'm probably like to the end of the year, I'm probably like off the con circuit because I have so much writing I have to do for this Kickstarter.
Well, that's what happens. You gotta
I'm in writing mode.
Or find other people to write for you. You can't do it all. You can't.
There's only one Mark, so it's just I can't.
That's true. There is only one Mark, but we have a lot of other writers and then Mark edits. You see, that's the secret. We don't have Mark write everything.
Yes, I can do it at least twice as fast if I'm working with somebody else's material in most cases, as long as we have the right author. And so we can get through twice as much stuff.
Oh, you're already speedy, so that must be that's like you cast haste on yourself or something. That's like, yeah.
Pretty much.
That's all we do is like constantly we have permanent haste on us at all times, it seems like.
Yeah.
So wait, I saw some other questions.
There was a question that says, what were like some of the trickiest design challenges that you had with ShadowDark? Like things where you're like, ooh, this is tricky. What should I do?
The decisions about what systems to even include in the game from the outset took a ton of weighing. The first draft of ShadowDark had a skill system in it. And I was like, it's clashing too hard with the old school style where you're trying to de-emphasize skills because you're trying to emphasize sort of like players using their very precious gear and the sort of cues in the environment to do things that I think skills wouldn't necessarily benefit. Systems with skills are awesome. Like I love Cthulhu. It's all skills. The entire game is skills, and like D&D 5e has skills to its benefit, but just the old school style of play was clashing with that. And I was like, no, and I removed them entirely from the game. And that was one of the longer decisions for the early draft of the game.
Yeah, that's a big one. That's a big one.
Yeah, but it was the right call.
You don't need skills.
It makes sense. To a degree, backgrounds may represent some component of that. At least when I played it, my cleric was an herbalist, and we were constantly being assaulted by like weird drugs that did lowered people's wisdom and poisons and other things like that. So I was like, as an herbalist, would I be able to maybe figure out a way to detoxify the drug or end the poison? So the backgrounds can sort of carry that weight, and it's a lot simpler to think about where does your character come from than to do an entire skill system.
Yeah, I'm glad you noticed that because that kind of was the soft skill method that we did instead of concrete skills, because you want to try to give people creativity within it to figure out over the course of their character's life, what have I decided my character can do well, and let them sort of build their own little skills list. And then it's either in the game, because it's bounded accuracy and really smushed in numbers. You don't necessarily need progression in a skill. It's more like, can you do it or not? Because you either have advantage or you don't. And so that's really what the skills are based around. And so to have ranks or something or improving skills over time wasn't as necessary. But there are kind of skills in the game still via backgrounds and stuff.
Someone had a question that actually I can relate to from my game there. Scott said, any insights on why you left certain rules undefined? And I will give an example. There was a creature that stupefied me during the adventure. and we didn't know what that was at all. So we just decided I would make really bad choices, and we all agreed that kind of made sense. So like the fighter was like, "No, don't do that. Make good choices," and then he rushed off and used his sword to attack the mage. So my cleric, who was like completely wisdom focused, was like, "Good choices, yes." And fighter said that, and he ran off and attacked with a sword. So I'll run off and attack with the sword too. That must be what he meant by good choices. And it kind of worked out, but like, I think that's what he was probably getting at.
Oh, that's a big one. That's probably the biggest one, is that conditions. I was like, these are undefined because there's a lot of reasons. One of them being that I've always found trying to juggle the conditions systems that have existed since 3E to just be like one of the most annoying exercises in cross-referencing that I've ever had to do. So I was like, you know what? Like, I'm going to use plain language for these. And I want the tables to decide what it means to them, you know, and like some of them are more clear than others. Like when everybody knows what invisible is, it's like you can't be seen. So how can you extrapolate that into the game world? And part of that was also to emulate the early style of play in D&D where there also weren't conditions defined, and it was expected that people would come up with their own house rulings and systems for how it would work. And that's kind of why there were different camps of D&D design in the continental US. There was like the West Coast camp that was coming up with different interpretations. And I think that this concept is sometimes referred to, as Kiwi said, as fruitful voids in design, where you're trying to encourage people to make their own decisions about how it's going to work. And that's actually the reason you're doing it. And it's really to keep the gameplay sort of more flexible and more keyed to the group. So it's definitely controversial to not have designed concrete conditions, but I think that, I don't know, I think it's more fun because I like the way that you guys handled Stupefied, and it would be hard to have come up with what you guys did, which was so creative, if you weren't given that leeway. And so I think that's cool. I like that. So that was one of the sour reasons why we didn't define conditions and a few other things so resolutely.
I have an issue with ShadowDark. My big issue. It's not hard enough. I have played multiple games and I've yet to die.
Because you keep rolling good characters. That's
Hey, I was in your game, so let me ask you.
Steven, trust me, the 4 hit point thief probably should have died, and it was possible to make that character. Although, to be fair, she survived at level 3 in a level 6 adventure.
You saw Kelsey saw live. My rolls are pretty good, but so we were playing a game, and not only did the game with Kelsey not end in death, but it ended in 2 dragons hooking up and everyone living. It was the most anti-ShadowDark game probably in ever. It's like, how did it end? It's like 2 dragons having sex and everyone lived happily ever after.
I was like, because I thought you were going to attack the other dragon. I was like, okay, what do you do? And you were like,
you looked at me.
And I was like, okay.
Right. So long story short, I got an orb that I can make a wish and do anything. So I turned, and there was a green dragon, I believe, a female green dragon coming after us and was about to kill us. And then I turned myself into a black dragon. And then she's like, "What are you going to do?" And I look at you and go, "Hey, baby." And you were like stunned. You're like, "What?"
I was like, what is going on? And this was, by the way, during a live game we were playing on stage with like other people that were like known people. And it was so funny. We did the whole I was like, I think I remember like rolling a check for her, or seeing or rolling a reaction roll or something.
Oh, you did.
And I was like, well, we're going to just fade to black.
She was like, no, you were like, hey, you were like, it worked out great. And then we left. And then everyone else went back to the inn with all the treasure.
It was really funny. It was a very and it's funny because I think ShadowDark gets a reputation for being so deadly because I think compared to 5e, it is, but
everything compared to 5e is deadly.
Yes, and it's much less deadly than like basic expert where you just die at 0.
Oh, forget that.
You know,
yeah.
So it's it's funny how it gets a rep, but it's really like, I don't know. Sometimes it cracks me up because people are like, ShadowDark's so deadly, and I'm like, have you ever played basic expert? Like,
well, that's the other thing.
One spell Clerics don't get any spell. Wait, is it in BX or AD&D that clerics don't get a spell at first level? I can't remember.
It's in one of them.
I
that
played,
and they have this slower
No,
progression.
I'm getting them flip-flopped.
No, the last-
But like, it's 2024, so a lot of the people that you're talking to have not played the earlier editions that came out like as far as 50 years ago, just because of like the aging of the populace overall. So I think the answer is no, they did not play those games.
I haven't played it yet, which is fine because I don't know how people like our age, like Mark, you and I are probably about the same age. Like I think third edition was really big when we were kids. Second edition existed for a couple years before I started playing third edition, but you know, I only got to play old school D&D because I had older GMs who that was their system knowledge. They were like, well, I grew up playing AD&D. It's all I know. So that's what I'm going to run for you. But
yeah, I ran 2E. I was the GM who started for my group pretty young, and I ran 2E and then 3E when it came out. When I was in high school.
So Agile Monk did a super chat. Congratulations, Kelsey, to you and your amazingly talented wife for your 4 Ennies. Design and marketing talent matched for perfection. Love and blessings to you both. I will have to say, I might like your wife more than you.
I know, everybody does. I know. I like her more than I like myself also. So
she was so funny. She's so funny because she's like geek adjacent. She's like she's not geeky, but she's surrounded by geekdom.
That's right. And she's such a like cheerleader for it. Like she's so positive about it. You know, it's actually our wedding anniversary tomorrow.
Oh, so really? Wow.
Yeah. So speaking of, like, she's always been so supportive, and she's like so excited about like the awards show and like Shadow, and like she's so excited for it, and yet she herself is not a gamer and is like not into it, but she's like super there for it. So
she was she had she like shows up, and it's like when I was in college, we were all seniors, and one of our friends who was a freshman ended up hanging out with us, the seniors. And we kept saying, like, you were the most spoiled freshman in history because you're like going to all the parties and you're doing everything a senior gets to do. We all have cars, like, you know, like no freshman gets it like this. That was like your wife. You're like shows up, hanging out with everyone, playing games, going to the Ennies, going to the bars. I'm like, she's like the most spoiled first Gen Con experience ever in history.
It's so funny. Like, we played in a game the last night of the con. That I looked around the table and I was like, I never thought I would be sitting at a table with this group of people. And then like Jesse's just there, and I'm like, you never thought you'd be doing any of this either. It was so funny. Yeah.
Wait, was that Mothership? The Mothership game?
It wasn't Mothership. It was I forget exactly what happened, but I think like, you know, we went out for dinner because it was actually my birthday.
That was the birthday game that I missed.
Yeah, but then some people had to fly home that day and stuff. So not everybody, because we did that on the Sunday, and a lot of people had to leave. So those who hadn't had to leave yet, I think a lot of us just were like hanging out afterwards, and we were like, we should run the game. And Baron Derop ran it. And it was funny. It was very fun.
Oh, by the way, I did get to accidentally kill Kelsey in Mothership. That was fun.
Oh yeah, that's right. Wait, did you do that last year too? Who killed me last year?
That wasn't me. No, I didn't kill you.
I think it was Ben.
No, I think it was Ben. I didn't kill you last year.
Ben abandoned all of us and went off with our spaceship.
No, I killed Ben. Remember, I killed everyone.
Steven was in Ben's
spaceship. I was the mold.
Ben didn't left.
I was the mold.
Yeah, you were the mold.
Right, and then I killed everyone, and then Ben's like, I got away. I'm like, no, you didn't. And then he like cut to black. You see me like in the back. And Ben's like, that didn't happen. That didn't happen. And Baron's like, yes, it does. And to this day, Ben refuses to believe that he died in that game.
Yeah, that was so funny. I was like, I thought he was gonna get away with everything. I thought he was gonna like get away with it.
Well, because everyone else is trying to, I'm infecting everyone and killing everyone. Everyone else is fighting me. And Ben's like, I go to the hangar, I get a ship, and I'm out of here. Like, he's just left. He's like, I don't want to deal with any of this. So
he's so funny. Oh my god.
And it's just the reason that the infection spreads to the rest of the galaxy. Whereas otherwise it would have been contained on that one place.
But Kelsey got to see the chaos ensue, because when I was playing with her, every NPC, she'd be like, "What do you do with the NPC?" And then I would literally grab the NPC and use them as a meat shield. And then I was like, it was like the leader too. It's like, oh, the leader of the kobolds. What do you do? I'm like, I grab him and like throw him into the combat, and he's like screaming, trying to get away, and I'm like holding him, and he's like getting killed. It was great.
You just gotta do you. That's if you're gonna.
Well, if you're gonna play
ShadowDark,
ShadowDark, it's like, what are you gonna do? Be nice to people? And then we were killing everything. Like there was no talking in that game.
But you weren't nice to anybody, even like innocent
Only
people that
the
were
dragon.
just on the ground.
Only the dragon. No, there was supposedly 2 factions, and we're supposed to like discover how they're like fighting with each other. I just killed everyone. It was.
In the one we played, we didn't even attack almost anything. Like there was this friendly mud man.
No,
and
they all
we gave him
died.
some food
Everyone
and
died.
He like healed the fighter.
Yeah, they were all dead.
And there were these cultists drugged out on the ground, and we just kind of walked around them. And we intimidated one group to get them to leave. So we actually only killed one archmage and like a few cultists at the end who were summoning an evil god, and that was it.
Oh, I would have
helped them.
You're playing Sanctum of the Elephant God,
That's
I think.
correct.
Yeah.
That's
Yes.
correct. The
was
last
like
next
mom.
adventure.
Yeah, that one can go real bad if you don't make friends with people.
Oh,
we didn't
please.
really make friends
We need to
with
make
that many
friends.
people, but our 4 hit point thief survived.
Friends are
Yes.
overrated.
It's mainly because as a cleric, we leveled from 1 to 3 at the beginning, and I looked through the spells. I hadn't realized we were going to level up, so I hadn't looked through all of the spells, and I chose Protection from Evil and Blindness. Because if there was a large group of enemies, I could cast Protection from Evil on the 4 hit point thief, and all of the enemies would have disadvantage. If there was one enemy, I could cast Blindness on that enemy, and then it would have disadvantage against everyone, including the thief. And if I lost one of the 2 spells, I would still have the other one. And so
Nice.
I just continually cast that, and the GM was rolling at disadvantage on everything, and that is why the thief survived. But
See? There you go.
yeah.
There you go. Yep. I love it.
They want to know if ShadowDark is going to get published in Brazil someday. Oh, people want to
Yeah,
know where
no,
did they
it's-
get ShadowDark too? By the way, you should give me the link. I'll put it
Oh yeah, right now it's just my website. I actually I own the domain shadowdark.com, and that'll just take you to my website. So if you just type in shadowdark.com, it'll take you to the site where you can buy it.
Or the Arcane Library. Or just
Yeah, or the arcanelibrary.com.
go there.
Yeah, that's the main
Or
site.
contact Baron Durop because he has like 100 copies.
He has just quick start. Then he bought a bunch to give away his
I
wedding
know.
favors at his wedding. It was so sweet.
So silly.
That was
silly.
like how I met him.
I know.
I had never met him before then.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Look at all that. Look at all that gear. Look at all the stuff you got here. ShadowDark is
Yeah.
back in stock. That's right. You couldn't get. Oh,
back
someone
for
wanted to know
now.
how do you get a gold book? The gold ShadowDark.
It's not possible to buy the gold book.
You
There are
cannot.
only very few. Unless someone who has a gold book is willing to give it to you.
Yeah, unfortunately, and they're signed
probably-
anyhow, so you're gonna have someone else's signature. It's gonna be signed to someone else in it, probably. So
True. I don't think there's any that I haven't signed. There's a very small number of them. But I was holding some in reserve for like super special prizes for things. So we might
okay.
do an adventure design contest, and that's on the table for a possible prize for it.
oh,
But it's going to be like a sort of like a very more, because we've done game jams.
Mhm.
Like Baron Drop has hosted some game jams, which have been so delightful, and they've produced really, really fun content.
Mhm.
But we haven't done like a long form adventure design contest yet. So I think that might be a possible way to get one.
They want to know what is delivery fees in Canada, and you probably don't know. Just I guess type it in and find out. I mean,
Yeah, if you choose there's a shipping option that lets you prepay customs, which is really helpful because Canada is super sassy about customs issues. Like the most customs problems we had fulfilling was to Canada, where they were like marking ShadowDark books as like golf equipment and then charging like weird customs fees and stuff. Yeah, it was outrageous.
yeah, Canada. I always tell people that they can't believe Canada's like the hardest one to ship to. I'm like, yep, Canada's
By far.
really tough to ship to.
hmm
Really
Mhm.
tough. It's,
Yeah.
Anyhow, that's a whole other topic we can get into because I know all the lovelies about Canada. Yeah, no, we didn't give out the book yet, so stick around. This is the deal. after Kelsey leaves, we have a big announcement because every year we have a year of. So we have the year of monsters, year of legends. So we're going to announce the new year of, which is 13 new ancestries. We put out one every month throughout all
Plus
2025 with a bonus
you get
one.
at the beginning from the Kickstarter or the end if you aren't on the Kickstarter.
Yeah. And then we put out, last time we put out a hardcover book. Where's my hardcover book? Oh, here it is. Classic Creatures. So you can play like a mimic. What can you play here?
Mimic, a dungeon,
A dungeon.
a demon,
Doppelganger, gremlins, a intelligent weapon. That's the best one.
That's the most complicated one.
It's the most complicated
don't go to
one.
that one if you don't want to have all these corner cases that all get adjudicated, but it sure is complex because the game does not assume that a weapon is also like the character.
Yeah, it does not assume you know what you're doing. But anyhow, so we do that, and then every month we put out another playable species, and this month's was swarms. Can you imagine, Kelsey?
Oh, that's cool.
You can play a swarm. It's actually
Being a swarm. I like that.
really cool.
Someone I know had a really cool character who was actually a locust swarm, and we didn't know. Literally
Wow.
didn't know until like toward the end of the campaign.
Yes.
They were like, they looked like a wizard wearing a cloak for a really long time. It was such a reveal. It was so cool.
Oh, the year of ShadowDark. Everyone's
That's
saying,
how
"Oh, I
how
could've
these
done
swarm
that."
bloods work is they have skin, but like they don't have blood and fluids because there's just locusts and stuff
Yes.
inside their body squirming around and their skin kind of moves as they crawl.
There's
in
like a
there.
bunch of bees in a trench. Because actually, but one of the art everyone seems to be obsessed with bees. That is one of the pieces of art is a assassin made out of bees and then using like the bees to put poison on a blade. So that's like one of our pieces of art. So you can be bees. The bees.
Wait, wasn't that one spiders that put poison on the blade?
No, that one was bees. There is another one of spiders.
Oh, okay.
There's both.
Well, we have a lot of them, but yeah, they just inside their body and they can release the swarms from like pores in their body to do special abilities.
Yes, my favorite one is the barbarian piranhas. He's a barbarian and he's filled with piranhas, and then he unleashes the piranhas at you. I'm like, yes.
That's a more unique because like a lot of people will be like, oh, swarms of like vermin, it's like either bugs or rats or whatever. But I'm like, when's someone going to be a swarm of goldfinches?
You can be.
Like,
well, this one's
where's
piranhas. That's like almost worse. I was like, yikes! Like bees, sure,
that's
but
a good one.
piranhas.
piranha's scary? Yeah.
Yeah, no, like some birds will definitely all swarm up together, right? Like a murmuration of starlings, you just look at them and they're just like all over the place.
That was
Ants.
cool. I like that. Or like pigeons. Come on, like we need like a swarm of pigeons.
I don't know about that. Well, anyhow,
A swarm of pigeons.
if you leave a comment in the chat why you want the player's handbook, I will select someone at the end randomly. But you got to be here if you're not here, because this happens every time. Every time I selected someone. By the way, the guy who I selected yesterday, Mark, was here and he wrote me, and he is from Denmark, which I was like, ugh. It was a little far. I was like, but then the weird part is, I was like, how far are you from Copenhagen? Because that's where my daughter is. And I was like, he's like, oh, I'm like an hour away. I'm like, oh, well, you're right there. You could go visit my daughter. Not really, but I'm actually going to be there.
Don't do that.
Don't do that. But
Do
I'm
not
going to
do
be
that.
there. But I'm going to be there in November because I'm going to visit
so when
her.
you go to see your daughter, you can like hand deliver it to
I
the
could
to
hand
the
deliver
guy.
the book to him. That's true.
There
It
you
would
go.
save a lot of money on international
Yes,
shipping.
a $2,000 airfare is going to be less
Well,
expensive.
because that's a sunk cost.
I
You've
know, it is
already,
sunk cost,
You've
I know.
already paid that cost,
I know.
right? At
I
the
know.
very least, you could put it in like Danish postage once you're already in Denmark,
Fair enough. but
Well, yeah,
I don't want the
local
guy to
post.
wait.
right?
Avoid
That's gonna be
the
way
customs.
cheaper.
I don't want the guy to
than-
wait 2 months for the book, but
I know. I'm just kidding, Steven.
okay. So, what else?
Yen books.
What other
it's
questions
hard to
do
get
we
books
have
into Europe.
here? We had a whole bunch. We had other questions about ShadowDark.
I saw people asking if there's going to be like an 11th through 20th level thing, like an advanced ShadowDark.
Advanced ShadowDark.
And like, I don't know. I think it'd be a different game at that point. The game is
Yeah, I don't even know
Like
if you
a-
can really. I think after 4th level, the game already changes a lot. Like,
it does. Yeah. And it's the like, because of the way the XP system works, it takes it probably on average, I was calculating this out back when I was developing the game, but it takes about like a year of gameplay to get to 10th level. you quickly get through third level, and then it really slows down from there. So I think there's a good amount of longevity for the game. Is if you're playing every week, it will take you a year to get to the highest level, and then at that point the game is like very close to no longer being about dungeon crawling, you know, or like low level gritty adventures trying to make it. So it's not to say that we would never do expanded stuff. I honestly don't know, but if we would do like mythic level ShadowDark, but it would be a different game.
Oh, by the way, do like and subscribe. You also have to like and subscribe. Subscribe, leave a comment, and then you get the book. So,
Yeah,
sorry, I always forget that. Well, it's not. I'm giving you a free book, okay? I don't think I'm asking that much.
It's so much work.
It's so much work. It's so much work. No, I'll send it to Canada. I'm sending one to Denmark. Okay, I'm gonna send a book to Denmark. I'll send it to
Canada with like the double customs thing.
That's what it's double customs.
Its own very special situation.
Well, but I use like the warehouses I use. They have methods because they will sometimes ship to a warehouse right on the border. There's all these warehouses on the border, and then they load it on a truck and then they drive it across.
Oh, that's
But don't they
smart.
get busted?
No, they're allowed to do it. It's just it saves it. You have to ship a lot to save, but it's just cheaper.
The truck is okay. The thing is, if you send it by mail,
Right,
there's
it
like
gets
a
double.
whole thing that
Right,
happens.
it gets double because you have to mail it to a holding area in Canada, and then they mail it again. So it's like it makes sense because they're basically trying to cut out, and now Europe's starting to do this. It's like they're trying to make sure they get paid because they're like in the old days everything was made in the country and then shipped in the country, and now people are making things in China and shipping it to that country, and then they are completely cut out. So they're making sure by doing double shipping and tariffs, and they can get anyhow.
Yeah,
that's all.
But they already have such high sales tax, so I feel like it's capturing that anyway.
Yeah, they're just trying to do all that stuff.
Or income tax. Yeah, income tax. So
Space Dark. Are you going to do Space Dark?
I don't know, maybe. I mean, sometimes I don't know what I'm going to do until I get like obsessed with the idea of it and then start writing it. So it's hard to say. Like I definitely know the next 3 or 4 things I'm going to be writing, but none of it's really space as of yet. Although I did just write a really weird science fiction fantasy adventure that I'm going to be releasing soon.
Oh, wait, that's what I wanted to ask you. What was the name? So you and I know this, or you know this. So you wrote an adventure for WoTC.
I did.
And you are pretty sure that the adventure you wrote is the one they're using in Project Sigil and the VTT, the adventure that comes with it is. Yeah, no, I know it is too. But what is the name? Because some of us have, let's just say we have access to Sigil. So I want to double check. Or better yet, maybe when you're back from Europe, I will run you through that adventure.
Oh, that would be cool.
I could
I'd
run
love to
you
see because I'm sure
I could run you through your own adventure.
it's so funny because I wrote that too, like years ago for them. Like, and it was while they were developing Project Sigil, and I was under like every NDA on the planet about it. And I wrote that directly with like one of their co-developers, and it was just me. Like, there wasn't a writing team; it was just me and they're one of their developers. And at the time, its working title was Worms of the Earth, but I think that it's now called Danger in Dunbarrow.
Yeah, that is what I think. That's what it is called.
Yeah. And I'm sure they've made a ton of changes to it since I wrote it, because I basically gave them a draft that met certain specifications for different assets they needed to use. And then they handled all the like play testing and stuff. And so I'm sure that other people have rewritten parts of it and all that. But the collapsing tavern was my
well, we can try it. We can try it when you come back. We can play some.
That'd be pretty fun.
It would be cool to see. And it's so funny because when I did this too, like WoTC was really at its peak, I think, in being beloved by the audience. And then after that, they did.
What I can't believe is they're not marketing that, because if I was them, I'd be like, we have an adventure written by Kelsey Dionne. Like they would should be like plastering that all over everything. It's like, come on, people.
I don't know. I think
they're bad
I
at
don't know if
marketing.
they ever do that.
No,
do they? I don't.
no.
think
No,
they
they
ever do
don't,
that.
but they
I don't
should.
think any of those companies out there really try to give star power to their authors to much of an extent.
Yeah, but
There's some degree to which WoTC has a few people they put in front of cameras a lot now.
Hire.
But
yeah, well, and like it goes without saying, like I can't talk about the details of it, obviously, but like WoTC did treat me very, very well. And so I think sometimes they get a bad rap. They were incredibly generous with how
they're a
they
weird
did
company.
that whole thing.
Because I've said this a lot, it's like when you work with them individually, they're very good. But then when you have to work with corporate, that's a different entity.
Yeah.
So it's like the two are very, very, very different. And by the way, that's all companies. That's not just WoTC. That's all companies work like that. So,
and the people I worked with directly were wonderful. It was a super small team. I don't know what I'm allowed to talk about, but it wasn't the conventional way they normally do things.
So do you have to leave in like 10 minutes or so? Or
I know.
Yeah.
All right, so wait, before you leave.
There's too many things here.
I know we have a lot, but we do have one thing we want to talk about. And we'll talk. You want to say? So everyone knows that we have a line. We have Battlezoo Bestiary Elemental Storm, which is live right now. If you back in the next, today or tomorrow.
It's roughly 48 hours.
48 hours. Look,
less.
I got them. I got them in the mail. This is
nice.
It's a octagon.
Really
it
nice.
holds dice. It's you'll get this for free. And I look at this. I have colors. They sent me there's over 100 colors, so I get to choose. They make these, so I can make it whatever color I want. So I
you
even have
can
a
back
vote.
and get monsters for your Pathfinder 2nd edition or 5e game.
That's right. Send me all these
with
cool
Battlezoo
things.
Bestiary.
Look at this. They sent me this too.
And Steven, those are the only systems that you can get a Battlezoo Bestiary for, right?
Well, right now, the only ones you can get it for is Pathfinder and 5e. But, we have 3 Battlezoo Bestiaries. And we have like 500 plus monsters, approximately. And we have a lot of art.
Maybe very slightly under?
Maybe slightly, but it's going to get close.
It's around 500.
We could add
at
a
least.
few more to make it 500, because he can't say, I got 493. It's like, okay, we have 500. So we could do it. But, wouldn't it be good if maybe we worked together with Kelsey and did Battlezoo Bestiary, ShadowDark? Wouldn't that be a good idea? Do you think that would be a good idea? You think we should maybe do that? Is that we can come out with 500 more monsters for ShadowDark so that she can kill people more effectively and easily, and she doesn't have to worry about coming up with monsters. She could just write dungeons and kill people over and over again.
I'm good at. I think that's a great idea.
So yes, it's not official, but we're talking it through. We're gonna do it. We'll do it. We just got to work out all the details. But we have been talking about it for a little while, and we've been working with Kelsey on figuring out translations between 5e rules to ShadowDark rules, because all of our monsters are written for 5e and Pathfinder. So we're gonna figure out how to take the same rules and the same monsters and convert them for ShadowDark. And our monsters are pretty complex, so we want to try to keep the complexity and uniqueness of the monsters, but still make them simple.
But see, you can do that because if you have a thing that's like, this monster is going to touch you and like unleash all of the knowledge of like the civilization that was destroyed by a supernova into your brain, and here's what it does in 5e and Pathfinder. In ShadowDark, you can just say, and that makes them stupefied.
Yay!
And we don't have to explain it, so we just remove like 3 sentences from it. You can probably fit more monsters.
So, you just make them brain dead. You can say that. Everyone knows what that means. You know?
Right? You could just write it in plain text and leave more of those voids for people to fill in.
Yeah.
So
there you go.
So people are asking. We've been talking. I want to.
Wow, there's like 30 to 40 people who've already said that they're really excited about this, which is like over 10% of all the people who are watching right now.
Well.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Well, I
love it.
We have the art. We have everything. It's all done. It's all ready to go. We already kind of have a weird old school vibe to some of ours. Obviously, ours is color, and Kelsey does black and white. But we're going to try to figure out a way to do both, because I don't want to turn it all black and white, but we already have a black and white kind of vibe, because in our book, we have old school art on the sides. I'm trying to find a Battlezoo Bestiary. So like, if you
mean
look,
like on the inside,
well, like even cover? Like right on the inside, like we have this.
Yes, that
right.
is
amazing.
That is the most ShadowDarky of the pictures in the book, though.
Yeah.
But some of them are a little less of the same.
No. It's a little less, but we have on the side, we have the art of like we have ShadowDark here. So we're already heading towards that direction. So we just have to go a little bit heavier into that direction to make Battlezoo Bestiary work, which I don't think will be hard. And we will also work with Kelsey, because we want to use together we'll use the official not copy fit. What am I doing? Trade dress.
The official
Trade
conversion
dress.
rules that Kelsey has come up with for guidelines of converting things.
Yes, and the official.
We did a
guidelines.
whole thing where, and I'm drawing too on the knowledge of the community. I mean, we have some folks in our community like Future Wolf who wrote such a definitive guide that I reference it in my own guide that I was creating, and and I'm sure that we'll refine it as you guys are working on making conversions and what we can do to make the advice more evergreen and wide. But yeah, we've actually written up a document that has very specific conversion advice in it.
Yeah. And so what we're going to do is it will probably have a combination of the black and white outline motif that ShadowDark has. And then we'll probably have, and then the stat blocks, and then we'll have probably color for the monster itself. Don't worry, it'll look good. It'll look
Color,
good.
I think there's so many
You're not
wonderful
against
old
color.
school products.
Yeah, we've talked about
yeah.
this,
Like,
if you use it right,
who does
you make it pop. It'll look good.
Mary Mushman are a publisher who does incredible old school color layout design. So it's absolutely not against the format, the style. OSR can have color.
Yeah, I mean, so we're gonna do a combo. It'll be sort of, I already picture in my mind. It's like it'll be sort of a black and white motif, and then just with color popping for each monster. It'll look really good. It's gonna look really good.
That'd be really cool.
And then as
Steven's
for
really skilled at that stuff. Isn't your degree in that kind of thing?
design, I mean, I do all the books.
You taught at the college my wife went to.
I taught at the new school. I taught at NYU, the new school in Carnegie Mellon. So
There you go.
Yeah, very impressive.
She could have been my student. That could have been weird.
She might. I know. I asked. I had to ask her, like, because we were trying to figure out if your tenure was lining up with when she was in attendance. So I don't.
I was
think
in the
you guys
90s.
missed each other.
I was in the 90s,
but
so I don't.
She's
know
in
if
the early 2000s. So
Oh, then I missed her. Oh, well, I might have been there in the early 2000s. I think I was there maybe to 2002, 2003. So maybe.
I think you just missed her. So
Okay.
yeah.
All right, but yeah, and it'll probably. I mean, I'll put it this way. We'll try to do a digest size to match everything else, but we're gonna work. We're not gonna do this. Like, this isn't really. I guess this would be second party. It's not first party. It's not third party. It's second party because we're working directly.
Because
we'll work with Kelsey.
It's second party in the video game sense, where you're working directly with the actual creators of the products on an exclusive thing.
Yeah. So that's all stuff we're gonna sort out. But I
That's
think
in the
it's
future.
Yeah, we're it's just fun to be like, this is something we've seriously talked about to the point of writing parts of things. So
yeah. Well, we got to finish this one because
we have 2 minutes and we have to address the question that is the title of the stream, at least for those 2 minutes. Is ShadowDark the true D&D killer? Is the title of the stream. The answer is no. Nothing is the true D&D killer.
No.
I'm going to tell you why.
Be the true D&D killer. Every time Steven says this,
I'll tell you why. Wait,
no.
I'll tell you why. Because every convention I go to, everyone's playing ShadowDark. Like, you know what? I was kind of joking when I wrote it, but of all the games that we've ever played or seen, this is the closest I've ever seen. Every convention I go to, I'll go to a convention with 1,000 people. Everyone's playing ShadowDark. We'll go to a convention with 10,000 people. Everyone's playing ShadowDark. And it's like, I don't see anyone else playing Avatar. I don't see anyone else playing. Like, the number of ShadowDark tables is stunning.
So,
It
Steven,
is stunning.
Steven,
Yes.
I will spot you this on that. Of all of the different TTRPGs that you have made a stream saying, is X the D&D killer for, or something similar, where the answer for many of them is no.
Yes.
The answer for this one is
Well, you got
no.
to get into retail.
It's like not as loud of it. It doesn't have exclamation marks after
because when
it.
Kelsey
No,
gets
it
into
is
retail,
slightly-
when
it is
Kelsey,
slightly less of a strident no
I
than for the other
disagree.
ones.
I disagree. Kelsey, are you in retail yet? Are you in retail?
We haven't done any distribution deals just because it is just not, it doesn't seem quite right yet.
Yes.
Yeah. I think we want to try to get into retail just directly to FLGS kind of on our own, and that's going to be the big thing we work on this year.
It's a pain.
Yeah, well, but it's also, I don't know. I worked at an FLGS. It was my first job when I was in high school. I mean, it wasn't my first job. That was actually the library. But my real, when I got my driver's license and I could work somewhere not in my hometown, my first job was at a game store.
I will tell you though, if you you get into retail. I know you don't. We're joking, but not really, because I know your sales numbers and I know their sales numbers, and your sales. You could. I'll put it this way. I don't know if you could beat them, but you could definitely make them. I think you could actually overtake Paizo, or at least Pathfinder. Not Paizo, but I think you could actually overtake Pathfinder, because I know your
that'd be
numbers
wild.
and I know their numbers, and I was like, it's pretty close. It's a lot closer than you think. So, but then you're
Who
not even in
knows?
retail. That's the crazy part.
Steven, you only know the numbers from retail, though.
Yes,
Both
I know.
Wizards and
Yeah,
Paizo
okay,
have
true.
many
I
direct
don't know the
sales,
private
which
numbers.
you don't know.
You're right,
And
you're
you're
right.
talking
Yeah.
about Kelsey's direct sales.
Yeah,
and
okay,
Wizards and
fine.
Paizo probably have higher direct sales.
Probably.
So
Well, Paizo
If
does.
you-
I mean,
if you
Paizo
ask
does.
me-
Paizo does.
yes. So if you ask me, is it possible for ShadowDark to take the number 2 slot? Well, obviously, Paizo won a bunch of Ennies and built up a groundswelling of support online and took the number 2 slot, which it did not have before. So I would say maybe it could, but beating Dungeons and Dragons and just taking it down and taking over the hobby, Steven,
You know
that's just,
what?
it's really not going to happen.
I'll tell you
unless
why it might
Hasbro
happen.
shoots itself
You know
so
what?
hard that D&D goes down.
I'll tell you why, because
And
nothing
that's almost
lasts.
impossible. The
Nothing
brand will
lasts
be sold.
forever. Nothing lasts forever.
Well, nothing. I know that's, and it's not. It's. I'm aware of that too. You know, like ShadowDark is. If we want to have it exist for as long as I have a career, I have to be very methodical and very careful about how we get the game out to people and support the community. You know, and I do. I want to keep writing for the game forever. So as long as I can, and so like it's not just a do a big Kickstarter and then disappear type thing. It's like about now, how are we going to get it out to people? How are we going to get it out to stores? How are we going to build communities? And so I'm very dedicated to that. And I think we're going to do big things with it.
People want to do a ShadowDark giveaway, but I don't have any extra ShadowDark books. So
I have a
Ask
book.
Baron for his quick starts.
I know Michael, I just saw him in the chat. Night Noon is my second in command. And let's give away a ShadowDark book to someone in the chat too. We'll give away one of the Pathfinder or one of the 5e books, and then if somebody makes it to the end, we'll give away a ShadowDark book.
Pick
And
someone
I'll
random and then
Yeah,
send
that's
you
good
the
because
info?
there's multiple
Okay.
people who in the chat were saying
I'll do that.
that they didn't really know a lot about ShadowDark except on this channel and they really want to check it out. So this could be an opportunity for you to check it
Yeah.
out. It's cool.
So
Play
you
it.
gotta like and subscribe to this channel, and then say I want that ShadowDark book in the comments or the
Yes.
chat. Is the chat okay, or does it need to be the
Not
comments?
chat. Well, you can't do comments because you can't do comments while a live stream's going, so it has to be the chat.
Yeah, it's gonna have to be
And
the
then-
chat.
I'll trust you guys to randomly determine the winner, and then
Yeah.
we will send it out.
There
Yeah,
you go.
I'll get the info to you.
You might wind up with someone in Italy, and then you can.
Then I can take
you
it
can have-
myself to you.
There you go.
Oh God, I better do that
I
quick.
just need to know in the next hour who it is.
Yeah.
I know. Well, no, seriously, just bring some. Do you bring any with you when you go to?
I haven't, but that could change.
You're like, I don't bring my work with me.
I'm bringing my computer. There's no way I'm not going to have to do a little bit of here and there while I'm over there. But it's all. I love my job. I love what I do so much that I'd be doing it even if I wasn't getting paid for it. So,
Well, it sure helps though, right?
Yeah.
it does. It helps me put all my effort into it. Then.
So, did you
then
really
I can
think
just-
when you did your Kickstarter, it was only going to do $10,000 and that was it?
My actual estimate was 30,000 based
Really?
on what I thought my click through would be from my newsletter and stuff. It's just people really showed up, and my newsletter especially really showed up, and it just because I was basing that off of like conservative estimates of like when I publish a new adventure, how many people buy it,
Mhm.
and ShadowDark was a different thing, and I didn't take that into account when I was making those estimates.
And then you're like,
Obviously.
when was it? When did it go from oh my god to oh my god? It goes from that always just happens when you have something that's like a big success, and you're like, oh, this is great, and then it keeps going, and you're like, uh-oh.
The first day. The first day I was
really?
having like an out of body experience because I hadn't slept in like 3 days, and I was like, am I actually like, is this really happening, or is it because I haven't slept in 3 days and I'm partially conscious and I don't know what's going on? Because like by the first day I was like, this is a life-changing outcome already, so that was really scary.
And then and then you're like, oh my god. We went from printing like 100 books to 25,000 books, and, and you're like, oh no, I gotta get it done. I gotta get it out. But
Yeah,
you did.
but it's like what you said. You have to rise to the occasion. That's only choice. If you don't want to be one of those like scary, like cautionary tales about the Kickstarter disaster of the year. So yeah.
Well, yeah, but you also had most of it done, right? I think you had everything.
Yeah, the book was done, so the hard part was done. It was just
okay,
like,
yeah.
wow, we really got to increase our order size. Can you do this, printer? And they were like, yes. And I was like, okay.
Well, you were using. I know. I mean, you're using Boda can do it. I mean, like you weren't using some small printer.
They were a commercial size printer already,
yeah.
so like we were small potatoes at first, and then they were like, wait a minute.
Baron's
Look who's here, Baron DeRob. I'm sad I have to bounce in a second here. I stayed a little longer than
Baron, we're giving away one of your books. We're giving away your book. We're giving away your book. It's not even going to be.
Book specifically.
In fact, we're giving away a free book, and when I announce the winner, I'm going to send the information to you, Baron, and then you have to send out the book, not Kelsey.
No.
Okay? He's like,
Baron
what? He's like, what did I do? He's like, what did I do?
I owe one of Baron's folks a book too because they won the game jam. Or whatever they choose, but yeah, the person who won the game jam wins a cool either book or the Cursed Scroll zines. So
I'll give out the book at the end. Oh, you have to give out your gold book, Baron. Sorry. Yeah, your gold book is being raffled, Baron. You didn't know that, right?
No, it's yours. You guys are safe. But
I know we wouldn't do that.
I feel bad, but I probably gotta get going.
You go.
Have an amazing trip.
Yeah, but you're going to
Thank
be in New
you.
York in a few hours anyhow. If I was crazy, I'd drive to the airport, but I'm not crazy. I'm not going to drive to the airport.
Don't be that crazy.
I'm not.
but
That's too far. You're going to JFK.
They won't let me.
That's way too
Once I-
far.
JFK is not the place you want to go to visit of all the places.
Well, now there's construction. It's so bad. It always was bad. And I was in JFK 3 times in 1 week during Gen Con.
I'm so sorry.
I was
genuinely.
too.
I'm worried that my in-laws will not get to the airport in time for the flight because they left 3 or 4 hours early once to try to get to JFK for a flight and couldn't get through the traffic and missed their flight.
Man.
Yeah. Well, now there's
I'm like,
tell them to get there early because the construction is total nightmare.
yeah, I'll make sure I tell them it's bad right now. I hope they know because they live like far enough out that they don't do it often. But
Oh wait, Dungeon Deacon said ShadowDark
Dungeon
brought me
Deacon.
back into the hobby. It was my first Kickstarter ever. Thanks to
thank
my premium
you.
Basilisk Skin edition.
Oh, I'm so glad that you're back in the hobby with this game. That makes me so happy to hear.
I know people love
It
this
saved
game.
it saved role playing games for me too, really, because I was really tired of doing 5e stuff, and I was like, I gotta figure something
Just
else
do what
out.
I'm doing. Like,
otherwise
I'm so sick and tired of games. I'm gonna write my own and then publish it and make $1 million. See, it's not that hard. You could just do that.
It was quite the unexpected outcome, but yeah,
You're like, it just
Cinderella
happens to
story.
anyone.
Yeah. You just have to be so fueled with disgust for. No, just kidding.
No, you're like, I have to hate the world of TTRPG so much that I am inspired to write my own. It's
Oh
like-
God, that's such a Vegeta style way of approaching it.
Yeah, right. It would be like a way that you're just tempting fate. It's just try and give me a huge runaway success.
Yeah, haha. You know it. Yeah, it's so true. Oh boy. Well, all right, you guys. I am having too much fun and I'm gonna stand and miss my flight. So I'm gonna go.
right.
And
Yeah,
thank
get
you
outta
so
here.
much for
All
having me
right,
on. Thanks everyone for being in chat.
Yeah, at the
Thanks for
end, stick
joining us.
around because we're going to give out a free ShadowDark book. Not a gold one. We're going to give out a free player's handbook before this stream's over. And we have
And we're gonna reveal the secret year.
That's right, the new year of. So
The new year of. People have only seen blurry pictures. I don't even know where those were from.
I made
but
it. I made that blurry picture.
There you go.
Oh,
It was in the newsletter. You gotta.
I didn't get the newsletter this week. Then I think
Maybe you
Maybe I didn't.
unsubscribed.
I don't know. I don't
Like
think
and
I
subscribe.
Like and subscribe. All right, we'll be right back.
All right.
Listen up, Dungeon Masters. Your players are falling asleep at the table. What? Your wizard is going to use catapult to throw rocks at a monster again? How about instead of that, the wizard covers their body in rocks and hurls themselves? Now you're thinking like a badass using Battlezoo Bestiary, Elemental Storm. Filled with over 150 innovative elemental monsters, new elemental spells, and the monster parts system, allowing you to craft weapons, armor, and magic items from the creatures you slay, infusing elemental magic into them with 20 unique elements. Sure, there's classics like air, earth, fire, and water, but there's even weirder elements like music, space, and time. Doctor Who, Doctor You.
Wait, I'm a player, not a dungeon master. Why should I give a
Well, Yahtzee, how about a brand new character archetype, the Monster Hunter? Climb on creatures, target specific body parts, and weaken them. Or just grab a small monster and use their attacks against the big one.
Ooh, you sold me at big ones.
Best of all, this archetype can fit along any class. Fighter Monster Hunter? Duh. Monk Monster Hunter? Sure. Wizard Monster Hunter? Well, it'll set the difficulty up, but go right ahead. Elemental Storm is filled with over 250 pages packed with stunning illustrations, detailed rules on the monster parts system, and so much more for your Pathfinder 2e and D&D 5th edition games. Click on the link below or head on over to kickstarter.rollforcombat.com to secure your copy of Battlezoo Bestiary Elemental Storm today, and turn your table from slow and crunchy to fast and furious.
Up, we're live. And Kelsey's gone.
Everyone.
Kelsey's gone. Well, at least we got her on. We could have kept going. We didn't even talk about like our craziness at Gen Con. There was so much we could talk about.
No, you were going to talk more about that stuff at Gen Con, but we didn't have enough time. There were just so many things. We had all these side tangents we could have talked about, like the idea for a sci-fi ShadowDark. I think it could be done. If you're like in a dying ship and you have your suit only has a certain amount of energy, and it's like the torches, right? And every hour you lose a power cell or something like that.
I hate to say it, there already is something. It's called Mothership. Mothership is basically sci-fi.
Well, Mothership is similar, but it's not exactly a ShadowDark clone.
It's close. It's close. Oh, I have Kelsey on every week, but she's really busy. I mean, I talk to her constantly. It's just she's busy. she's a very busy person. So, yeah, trust me, I would have her on as much as I could. But anyhow, that was that was one of the big secrets that we're holding off, is that we are working directly with Kelsey, and we're even figuring out if we're going to publish her. She's going to publish it. We're going to work together on putting out a Battlezoo Bestiary ShadowDark. And it will be, because we have so many monsters, it might be one book, it might be two, might be three. We're still figuring it out. Yeah, we're figuring it all out.
We're still in early stages, but true progress has been made, including that conversion guide, which indicates that stuff is happening.
We have enough to actually, once we finish this Kickstarter up, and the next Kickstarter, we have enough that I'm actually going to start doing some test layouts, because believe it or not, you have to work backwards. You have to kind of figure out how the monsters will fit in the layout in the book, because then we can figure out how many monsters, because if it's one monster per page, I can't do a digest size 500-page book.
I think it's going to be 2 per page, but we'll see.
We'll see. Right, it might be 2 per page, but then if it's digest size, the font might be too small. And the thing
also, that would mean that the pictures are either have to be smaller, or they will like be weird, or not all of them get pictures or something like that.
I think it's going to probably be 2 books. I think we'll probably have to split it into 2. It might even make it. I doubt it'll be 3. It'll probably be 2.
The problem with 2 that's a little bit sad.
I know, it doesn't really.
Is that Strange and Unusual and Elemental Storm really want to be together with each other because they're themed, whereas the first one is completely random. So you could put I guess you could put most of the first one that isn't elemental into Strange and Unusual, but that might be not a balanced load.
No, I think it has to have to be digest size just so it matches the rest of her books. It's gonna,
especially if it's like done as like a semi-official one.
It's gonna be official. So and she has a very large font. That's another issue, is that she uses like a 10-point font. So I'm gonna have to.
Nice for reading it.
It's very nice.
It does mean you fit fewer words on the page.
Right. So this is giving a little inside baseball. Like you actually work backwards. We actually will have to lay out the book, figure out how it fits, and then we'll figure out how many books.
Yeah, we lay out like a few so we know we can extrapolate, even though that's a very late stage task normally, and then that allows us to determine what the book will be.
BattleDark Bestiary. That's
Yeah,
actually
BattleZoo
not
Bestiary.
a bad name, but
It actually sounds cool.
it does sound cool.
I like it.
But we have Battlezoo. But anyhow, it
Yes.
would be.
Yeah, well, it's the Battlezoo ShadowDark Bestiary,
Right.
though. So
Well, we haven't figured. Is it Battlezoo ShadowDark Bestiary, Battlezoo Bestiary, ShadowDark, Battlezoo Bestiary?
maybe it's the
One of
Battlezoo
those
Bestiary
three.
with the ShadowDark logo on it.
Well,
but
that's what I was gonna do.
Because of how it is
It's
done.
gonna be Bat and then ShadowDark on the bottom.
Yeah, it might be ShadowDark at the top. We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out. But the main reason is also, and we didn't get into this, but Kelsey really likes writing dungeons and obviously rules and you know what, monsters, they're tough. It's tough. It requires a different set of skills. It requires a lot of art, a lot of time, a lot of effort, and you need them. Every single new role-playing game needs monsters, and that's why it's always one of the 3 core books that comes out. And she does have a lot of monsters, but you know, you do need more. You never have enough. So that's actually why we decided to probably work together, because we can help each other out. So wow, everyone's coming up with crazy names. ShadowZoo
BattleDark.
ShadowZoo BattleDark. That's actually pretty good. Shadow of the Battlezoo.
ShadowZoo.
I love this.
Yeah, there you go.
We gotta love that. So, but Jess is here. Yeah, Jess wants the ShadowDark book.
Well, because we're getting close to that announcement for the new year of.
Yeah. Well, because Jess wants to see what it is.
I think so.
Oh, because Jess is going to write some of them
in the Discord about which one of the ones that she did.
So I'm gonna.
They guessed almost at random because of the blurry pictures.
I know. ShadowZoo is a good name. ShadowZoo is a good name. I'm gonna shame Jess a little. Jess, you want to come on? If you want, I'll even let you come on, Jess. If you're ready. If you want to come on, you have to let me know. So Jess, I will say that I'm going to shame you a little, Jess, because you were late, and it drives me crazy when people are late. But you wrote the Swarmblood, and not that I have any favorites, but Mark will even know that I was like, holy crap, this is good. I was like, this is a really good ancestry. It was very well done.
I passed it on.
Oh, okay.
In my role as liaising with people, whenever I hear something positive about their work, I always pass it on to the author, because I, as an author, know that people praise your work very rarely compared to how often you hear fine criticisms online. So I always pass it on. Yeah. So I let Jess know how much you loved that ancestry, like best out of all of the ones from Year of Legends.
Yeah, I mean, they're all good, but this one, there was something special about it. Also, it's just the whole concept
Jess
of the...
said, yeah, sure, for coming on.
Okay, hold on. Let me make a quick thing with you. Do you want to give her the link?
Yeah, I can send her the link. Let me send the link.
We can actually have...
The link to the past.
What name should I use for Jess? Anyhow, Jess wrote... She also wrote... Which dragon book?
The Leshy Dragons.
Leshies.
That was the one that was late, by the way, Stephen. The Swarmbloods were more or less on time.
Oh, okay, good.
It was like a couple days off, but we didn't start it right then anyway. It was fine, Stephen. You don't have to shame people about when they're late. They feel bad about people who are late. I know this.
I know.
Because I've had a lot of freelancers who are late with me, okay? Feel bad enough already about being late.
All right, I apologize, Jess. Wait, so Jessica, I forgot how to spell your name.
It's R-E-D-E-K-O-P.
Wait, what is it? R-E...
D-E-K-O-P.
Oh, there we go, Jessica Redica. Did you send her the name? You send her the link?
So many people are coming up with names for BattleDark ShadowZoo. I did send the link to her. The Zoom link.
The Zoom link.
In Discord.
It's another zoo. The Zoo Zoom.
Battlezoo
Bestiary. You know, it's funny. So Battlezoo, I came up with that name like 25, 30 years ago. And I just kept it because everyone's like, oh my God, that name is so cool. I love that name. And I'm like, I don't even know what I'm going to do with it. But I figured it out. Just took, 30 years. Mark. Jess hasn't been on in a long time. And she can be part of it because she is one of the authors. So it actually works
Zoom
out
is
fine.
updating, Jess says.
Ah.
So she's trying to get on ASAP, but it gave her an update because she has in fact not been on for a long time.
She hasn't been on for so long.
Long enough that Zoom needed an update.
So while we're waiting, before we're going to announce the new year of, do you want to explain what the year of? Because we probably have a lot of people here who have no idea what the hell we're talking about, Mark.
Yeah, sure. I can do that. One sec, because chat just somehow popped out to the bottom of my screen, and I don't remember how to get it back to the right side of the screen again. Does anyone remember that? I'll figure it out. So the year of Monsters was our ancestry project where every month we sent you a new lengthy ancestry with detailed lore and feats and special abilities that you can gain for that ancestry.
Mm-hmm.
And so Year of Legends was our second. That's actually, I say was, but that's currently what we're doing right now. Mm-hmm. And September's was Swarm Blood, which Jess wrote, and is an amazing ancestry where swarms are in your blood. They're inside your body and they come out. We talked about it earlier in the stream. So each year we're going to do this until Steven decides to stop doing it. And so next year we're going to do another one. But what is it the year of? We had the Year of Monsters. We had the Year of Legends. And next year...
Oh, wait, I got to
Can I tell them, or should we wait for Jess?
I got to wait for Jess.
All right, we're going to wait for Jess.
Oh, wait, she's here.
Now, let's see if anyone in chat
unfortunately,
they said click and drag.
Hold on.
That didn't do it. It's just, it came to the bottom of my screen, and I don't know what... I know how to pop it out.
You don't need chat.
I need chat. I want to see what they're saying.
There we go.
I was also in the middle of talking to someone
Jess,
on chat.
Look at your cool new hair. I like it. You look like you look like you live in the Matrix. You look so cool.
Yeah, I have a blue light now.
Look at you.
I'm very fancy now.
You are. Look at you. You got the cool hair. You got the blue chair. You got the white. You got the black.
Yeah. Well,
you got the white skin. Look at you. You look like you look like you could be in the Matrix. You look very cool.
Yeah.
I haven't seen you in a while. I missed you at Gen Con. You were at Gen Con?
Yeah, I was so busy at Gen Con because of that World of Darkness LARP that I do.
Did you win?
Instead of playing in it this year, I was like playing NPCs and helping to run it.
Oh, okay.
And in the inter-year now, everyone is plotting how they are going to kill the NPC that I played. So yes, I would say that I won.
Oh. It's like,
because you became the queen, right?
Yeah, like everyone wants to kill me.
Yes.
I won.
Yes. So the premise that we had for the vampire plot was that we're doing Sabbat. And so we had 3 Sabbat bishops who are all vying to become the Archbishop of Boston. And my bishop is the bishop who won because I had the most quests turned into me. Because like players have the choice of which of the bishops do you want to turn this quest in. Whoever gets the most completed quests turned into them is the one who has like consolidated the most power in Boston. Mm-hmm. And so I had the most quests turned into me, but also everybody absolutely wants to kill this character that I played now. Like I am number 1 on the kill lists, and I could not be more pleased.
That's hilarious.
Why?
So correct me if I'm wrong, because I am the one person in the world who knows Changeling the Dreaming better than Vampire, but Sabbat are like the ones who like the ancient antediluvian vampires and are not following the Masquerade as much, where you want to like be somewhat nicer and have fewer vampires so that you are a little less killing everybody. Is that it?
Yeah.
And then the Anarchs are the ones who just do whatever they want.
Yeah, the Sabbat are less into the Masquerade. They're more into like humans are just ours to do with what we want. We're vampires. We're very powerful. We rule, and might makes right. And everybody in the Sabbat needs to be bloodbound to everybody else in the Sabbat so that like nobody can leave and everybody is like loyal forever.
There we go.
So I have it set up, but unfortunately I have it set up for 2 people, but that's okay. We just might mess up. I'm going to fix something. So
I'm told I have to explain myself. Well, the answer is I played a lot of Changeling, and there are also
Yeah.
mages in that game, so I know a decent amount about
yeah.
mage, although there's mages very long and there's a lot to know. And vampires have shown up, and I've read articles, so that's how I did get the Sabat thing right, but I wasn't sure.
Yeah. I also like in this World of Darkness LARP, they do vampire and werewolf and changeling and mage. Like they do all 4 splats in the LARP. And for the last 2 years, I played changeling. And in the intervening time, I have started playing in like a monthly tabletop changeling game. And so at this point, changeling is also more fresh in my mind than vampire.
got it. All right, hold on.
All right.
I'm gonna fake
so,
this.
Steven, are we ready to tell them
We are almost ready. I need 1 minute.
what it's the year of? And more importantly, not really more importantly, much less importantly, whether Jose, who guessed at random among 13 blurry pictures, correctly guessed
Hold on.
which of the ones that Jess is writing with no other information.
Yeah, just based on the blurry pictures.
Hold
I would
on.
love to solicit more guesses from the blurry pictures. I don't know if we're going to show the blurry picture on stream before we do the full reveal or not, but I think it would be very funny to solicit more guesses.
It would be.
How
but
many
I
of
don't
them
have it.
do you know from the blurry pictures, Jess? Because you know what all of them are, but you haven't seen the non-blurry version of the pictures.
Well,
I've seen the non-blurry version of the one that I'm doing, and so I do know if Jose is correct or not, because I can tell from the blurry pictures which is which, and like I think I can remember most of what is in this year, and so there's a lot of them that I can guess.
Okay. All right.
That makes sense.
We're almost ready. Give me 1.
People are saying Kelsey looks different. It's probably because Jess says Kelsey. Is that true?
Does it say?
Yes.
Oh, it does?
Yeah.
Yes, it said Kelsey all along, even though you asked me how to spell her name and everything.
Oh, come on.
That's very funny.
Well. Leave me alone.
She revealed her true
hello.
form.
Hello, it's me, Annie Winner and ShadowDark author.
There we go.
I would love to know what's in my book.
There we go. Hey.
I would love to win that book from.
Wait, right? Yeah, did you comment to get in the book wedding thing? Wouldn't it be funny if Steven draws you out of the list?
I'm not drawing you.
Yeah.
He's just gonna send it back. Man, Steven, is that a fair drawing if you send it back for people you know?
Yeah, because she's not gonna win.
Oh my god. I can't believe I've been disqualified from this contest. Is it because I live in Canada?
Yes. It's too hard to show it to you. It's too hard to send it. What?
Steven, it's the ShadowDark contest. You don't have to send it. Kelsey's gonna have someone send it.
Yeah, that's true. It's gonna be my problem.
That's right. That's actually not my problem. It's her problem.
Okay, so Steven.
Yes.
While you are getting this set up, if in theory, supposing I were to go to New York, where do I get my New York pizza? Where do I go?
Are you going to New York?
Like maybe.
Well, you tell me when you go to New York.
Like maybe next week.
What? Really?
Maybe.
Right,
I haven't decided yet.
I'll be around.
Because I'm gonna be in Vermont, so I can take the train from Vermont. And so I might. But I feel like the Amtrak tickets don't sell out, so I don't really need to make a final decision.
No, it's pretty easy. Let me think. Well, you'll have to get back in touch with me because there's different types of pizza in New York. Okay. And there's the walk and talk pizza where you literally just go and you buy a piece and you eat while you're walking.
Yeah.
There's
sit
that's
down.
What I want.
That's what I want. I don't want to sit down. Yeah.
Walk and talk. Actually,
I'm still not doing indoor dining.
Oh,
if
you're still
I can
not.
avoid
Okay.
it.
Well, you can sit outside everywhere in Manhattan.
Yeah, that's true.
I would say, I don't know. There's a place in the Village that I don't know if it's still open. You know what? Unfortunately, my favorite place is all closed, so I gotta get back to you on that one. There's one in the Village that I like a lot, and unfortunately, I am not a New York pizza connoisseur because I don't live in Manhattan anymore. But like where I live, I know where it's
Yeah.
really good pizza, but I can get to you because
Okay.
my wife is a foodie. So between me and
Okay.
her, I'll
Yeah.
give me a few days and I'll get you.
Yeah. Like, imagine
Pizza
that I were
place.
in New York for like one single day, and I
Oh,
were going
you're
to
in New York
have
for
one
one single day.
piece of
Yeah,
pizza.
yeah. I can tell you where to go.
Well, I mean, like with the train, right? So like
I know.
if I'm taking the train in and I'm taking the train out, I really only have like 1 or 2 full days. And so like imagine that that's my window of time and that I want to have like one slice of pizza and I want it to be like my New York pizza experience.
Oof, all right.
So there's a
then
lot
I
of
gotta
pressure.
talk. Then I gotta talk.
There's a
Yeah,
lot of
that's
pressure on this piece of
and
pizza.
okay, let me get one more caveat. What type of
Yeah.
pizza? Plain, pepperoni,
whatever.
mushroom. Like, what is your favorite type though? Because that also matters.
Well, so my favorite type of pizza is not going to be the New York pizza experience. So, like, if the New York pizza experience is that I should have a cheese pizza, then I will have a cheese pizza. If the New York pizza experience is that I should have pepperoni, then I will have pepperoni.
Oh, I see. Well, usually, it could be one of the basics like cheese, meatball, pepperoni, sausage. Like, those are the basics. That's when most people, margarita. But like white is not like considered New York pizza, something like that. You can even get it with like, I mean, I don't like that, but some people like peppers. So, there's like, I'd say there's like 10, 12 standards you can have.
Yeah.
So it's not like, it's only this, but any of those. But yeah, no Hawaiian, nothing like that. So
Yeah.
you can have anchovies. Anchovies are fine. New York cheese is pretty standard. I actually prefer New York pepperoni, because that's what I like. But if you're not a pepperoni person, then and like my kids like meatball. Meatball's very good. That's very good.
I could go either way. Like particularly between cheese and pepperoni, I could do either. I just want to make sure that I am having like
the best,
the quintessential New York pizza experience,
that's
and whatever
easy. That's
pizza
easy.
that is.
I mean, ask my wife when she's back because she's a hardcore foodie. And again, the places I know are good, but she probably knows some places that are quote better. There actually I do know one in the Village that is considered quote the best, but you seriously might have to wait like an hour.
Yeah.
So that's the other problem. It's like the best ones might have an hour-long wait, and that's not to sit in. That's to get a slice.
I understand.
So like, and I don't know if you want to wait an hour to get a slice. So that's the other balance of
I'm prepared for that if I have to.
I know where that one is. That one in the Village is very, very good. Anyhow,
I don't have like a lot of things that I definitely want to do on this trip. Like I want to go to the Metropolitan Museum.
Okay. Yeah, that's pretty
I want to do that. And there are some shops that I want to go to. There's like a stationery shop that I want to go to because I'm like a weird freak for stationery. As
all of us are, right?
And like I might see Book of Mormon. I don't know.
Oh, Book of Mormon's great.
Yeah.
You're talking to Mr. Well, I've seen every Broadway show. So if there's any question on a Broadway show, I've seen them all.
Okay. So
I've seen every single one.
If I were only going to see one, do you think it should be Book of Mormon, or is there something else that?
What's your humor type?
I mean, I
Do you
imagine
like
that
South
I will
Park?
enjoy.
Do you like South Park?
I could like, okay, so imagine that I'm already seeing Book of Mormon. Imagine that that's the case because my boyfriend wants to see Book of Mormon.
Okay, it's excellent. I mean, Book of Mormon, you can't go wrong. It's very, very raunchy. It's very good. If you like raunchy, silly, goofy type of humor that goes over the top and then past that, it's Book of Mormon. So you'll like it. It's really good. It's really good.
Okay, so imagine that that's like settled.
Okay.
What else should I see if I were to only see one other?
Well,
like,
there is
two.
the D&D show where they play D&D live on stage, which
but like lots of people do that.
It's
brand
see
new.
That at,
it's
like, really good though. It's really good.
But
all right, fine. Then
no, it's just that the time that I have in New York is more limited than the time that I have at conventions, and I could see people play D&D on a stage at any convention.
Fair enough. Then I would probably say, do you want a musical or you want something silly and goofy like a farce?
I could do a musical. If Hedwig were playing, I would see Hedwig. It would be no question. I would see Hedwig.
Hedwig I saw with I saw that with what's his name?
Did you see Neil Patrick Harris, or did you see?
Yeah, I saw Neil Patrick Harris.
Yeah.
Neil Patrick Harris. He was excellent. Oh man, I don't know. Let me see what's playing.
Yeah, that would be my no question. Okay, we'll do this later.
We'll do that in a sec. We'll do that later. Everyone's like, oh, here they are talking about Broadway. It's like, oh, wait, what is it? Oh,
if Beetlejuice were still on Broadway, I would see Beetlejuice.
I know it's not
playing.
I know it's not playing anymore.
I would see Hedwig if Hedwig were playing, but Hedwig isn't playing.
I did not like The Outsiders that much. I didn't think it was that great. And I love The Outsiders. Moulin Rouge is pretty good. Six is really good. Wicked is excellent. I mean, Wicked has been around forever. It's good.
Yeah.
Like it's
I could do Wicked.
Hades Town is Hades Town is A+. It's a little heavy, but it's A+.
Yeah. Do you think between Wicked and Hades Town
they're
that I should
very different? Like Wicked, you'll probably first the movie's coming out. Second, Wicked's really good though. Wicked is really good.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's a tough one because they're both like Wicked is a more traditional musical. Hades Town is a retelling of Mark. What's the telling of the goddess who had to spend half of her life?
Oh, Persephone.
Persephone, right?
In the underworld.
Yeah. It's Persephone. It's the retelling of that in modern day. It's that's why it's called Hades Town.
Okay.
It's good, like really good, but it's definitely a little weird because it's not like a very straightforward. Wicked is the Wizard of Oz deconstructed. It's amazing. Like I was like, wow. It's one of those like, wait, the Wicked Witch is good and everyone else is bad and everyone else. It's one of those like it turns your brain around. It's.
I mean, Glinda is kind of a jerk in the movie. I'm just.
I know, but that's what it's about. It's like how like the Wicked Witch is actually the good guy and everyone else is the bad guy, and it is how they do it is brilliant because it shows them growing up together in a private school for witches. And it shows how they become.
I've got another
friends.
guess for which ancestry is mine in the blurry pictures. Yeah. So now we have two guesses.
There are two guesses now. It's not just.
All right, we're losing a lot of people.
There's also a guess
no
from
one cares.
Severa.
No one cares about any of this stuff. All right, here we go.
Yeah.
So first we had the Year of Monsters, and then we had the Year of Legends. What do people guess in chat? It's going to be the year of. Let's see if people
there was
can
a
guess.
guess of the Year of Food.
The Year of Food. The Year of ShadowDark. We've seen that one about 100 times.
Yeah, the Year of ShadowDark happened a bunch of times because we talked about the ShadowDark announcement. Some people conflated and thought that they were the same announcement.
The Year of Demons. The Year of Folklore.
There's also the Year of Myths. The Year of Foot. Year of Plants. Year of Musicals. Year of Gods. Year of Elements. I've seen Elements multiple times.
Year of Pizza. I'll take that one. Year of Goblins.
Fables. Year of Myths is in there sometimes.
Year of
the
Dragons.
Year of Ancestries.
Well, the Dragon Ancestry book is kind of the Year of Dragons, by the way.
Year of Heroes. Year of Omens. There are a lot that are actually close and are all around it.
You guys are getting close. No one's gotten it yet, though. No one's gotten it. Year of Darkness.
No one's gotten it exactly right.
No one's gotten it.
There's some that are awfully close.
Year of
If you rated them in like red versus green versus yellow, there would be several that got green flags for being so close. Year of Dungeons, Year of Plays. You guys still, come on, keep going. I will let everyone know that we've revealed that Kraken is one of them.
Yes.
It's the only one we've said out loud before is one of the ancestries. So it has to be able to include a Kraken.
Year of Cryptids. Actually, I wouldn't mind that one. Year of Heroes, Year of Planes.
The Year of Found Omens.
The Year of Leviathans. Year of Years, Year of Seas. Someone's getting close.
Gosh, some of these are so
They're
close.
so close. Year of Kaiju. Patrick.
Michael Jadora.
Patrick.
Daniel Carroll. Three of them all got it right in a row. Year of Titans.
The Year of Titans.
That's the one. It's the Year of Titans. So the Year of Titans is our next year lineup, and I couldn't be more excited about them. It's a really cool lineup. I promise it's not as blurry as the thing that Steven sent.
I'm going to show it in a second.
Because that was just to stir up drama. And also, Jose was right and just randomly guessed which one was Jess's.
Yeah.
So it'll be Year of Titans, and you can sign up now at titans.rollforcombat.com because Unfortunately, we have to. People are like, I hope the Kickstarter's not too soon, but it starts in January.
It's not that soon.
It's not that soon. It's going to be
the actual
November.
year starts in January.
Yeah, so we got to do it.
It's going to be in November.
Right, so we got to do it
said,
soon.
I hope that the Kickstarter is more than 2 months from now. And I believe it technically is.
Technically, you'll be charged more than 2 months.
Because it's always going to be in. But it's going to start more than 2 months from now because it's always going to be in a Tuesday.
Yep.
And it's going to be in November. So the first Tuesday in November is 2 months and 1 day from now. So it's at least that long.
So here is the rotation of the covers for each one. I put a little.
Year of Titans.
So these are we have 13 new ancestries. Some of them are actually Titanic, like we have the ogres. Someone did get red caps. That was correct.
Yeah, red caps were easy to tell from the blurry picture. They were the only one that I would rate as easy. There was a moderately easy one that someone guessed correctly as well. Dullahans.
The Dullahans, someone got that. The troll, I don't think anyone got that. So the Year of Titans, the red caps. So yes, we have bogies. We have the Cyclops. We have, it's going on right now, the Dullahans. That's going to come out in October, believe it or not. How do you pronounce those guys? The Enajar? The Enajar?
Oh, Einherjar.
Einherjar. The Figments. The Figments are the weirdest one, because the Figments are literally figments of your imagination. Living Spells, which will be spells come to life. Ogres. Red caps. I'm actually excited about red caps, because red caps are nasty. The satyrs. Everyone likes satyrs. The snow souls. What's a snow soul? Even I don't know. And a titan. And which one is Jess doing?
The one that you called out as saying they were cool and super weird.
Oh, the figments?
The figment.
Oh.
Yes, I'm doing the figments.
Wow. All right.
It was very interesting during
that's a good one.
during the dips process because Jess really, 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 really wanted the figments.
Yeah, I sent Mark my document for here's all of my supporting evidence for why I should get the figments. Exhibit A, here's a photo of me in Disney World next to Figment.
I love Figment. I actually have a stuffed Figment around here somewhere. The little dragon. I used to love the World of Imagination.
That as a kid because I like dragons, and
I know.
I guess that's obvious. I mean, there's the dragon art over here.
Well, Disney's Figment be there. No, but did you see of all the art we did? That one guy, man, that artist knocked it out of the park because I was like, it's got to look kind of cartoony and kind of like, because all the others are so serious, but that one's a little silly, and he got it, man.
I had fun ordering the weird things, and he drew all the weird things that it was even better than I pictured in my head. Yeah. 100% no notes from me, at least. I don't know if you gave any notes.
Not really. It's like it has a bill of a duck and antennas, and he's kind of holding magic in his hand. It's like the weirdest art order ever, and the guy did it perfectly. I was like, damn, man, that is tough. But
then it turned out though that so I was like, oh man, this is gonna be tough because multiple people might also want figments, and Jess really wants them. But then there was actually a big brawl for red caps, Dullahans, and trolls. And it was and Jess was just kind of slinking past that, grabbing figments, and nobody noticed.
No one noticed. No one noticed. I just took the figments. It's like the figment.
Let me say a little very brief thing about each of them. Okay. So the Titans are the marquee for the year because it's the year of Titans, and these are Titans. So as a Titan, you can become a child of the fallen gods, grow and evolve, and survive and thrive in a world that's passed you by. Because the idea of Titans is tied to the fact that there's always some deities who won, and there's always some deities who lost in many different settings. And so, for instance, in the setting of Alucard, the world of Battlezoo, the powerful beings that lost were kind of kaiju, and the ones who won are these the balance deities, these interloper alien invaders almost that came from another plane. And so the Titans have some elements of kaiju to them because they're descendants of these kaiju gods who lost. And there's a connection to fallen gods or other things that may have been defeated by these new gods in all of these ancestries. Whereas the Titans obviously are directly that, but there's like a little bit of a connection in the history and the backstory.
I'm doing the art right now because the Titans will be the bonus ancestry that comes out in January. Yes. The art is insane because it's like okay, it is half Titan, half Godzilla. Like half Titan, half
it's like
crab
a person Godzilla, and then there's like a Mothra person.
Yeah, it's literally like take a Titan and take a kaiju and put them together. That is our version of Titans. So they're not just.
I know
they're not
the
just
D&D
big.
Titans are just like real tall guys that look like Olympian gods. But for one thing, we're doing all of the monsters here. Some of them exist in D&D and Pathfinder, but they are our own take on them. Yes. Or they're ones that don't and are just in Legends.
Yeah.
In some cases, like the Red Cap, Pathfinder's take is extremely close to the folklore, so it's going to be close. But so that's Titans. So trolls are basically you're a hardy hidden folk, venture up from your secluded steading, recover from what should be mortal blows. Like that's trolls. We're going to go more into troll folklore for some of the lore on that and less into just like the kind of exactly Warcrafty and D&D trolls. Snow souls become a being of ice and snow, control the powers of the blizzard, understand the feelings within your frozen heart. So that's the one Steven didn't know what it was. They are like made out of elemental ice and snow.
Well, you could also sing, Let It Snow, all that some fun stuff. So,
well, the cold never bothered you anyway.
That's right. I never did.
I think "Let the Storm Rage On" is one of our taglines for Snow Soul. So red caps, become a bloodthirsty battle fae, make a fashion statement with your trademark bloody cap, and gleefully dance through fields of carnage. Isn't that nice?
Who's writing that one?
So,
in theory,
I can't remember.
I think I know. I think I know, but I don't want to say in case I'm wrong.
Everybody wanted to.
Oh, really? Everyone wanted the red cap.
I told you there was a knife fight. Almost, not really. Everyone was very polite to each other, but every single person wanted to write Dullahan, Troll, and Red Cap. And I think I know as well, but I'm going to confirm that by going into my chat history with the person who I think is writing it and make sure that I sent them that I gave it to them. All right. Yes, and Jess is correct with who is writing it. It is Michael Raccoon.
Okay.
Yeah. He when the outline came around, he asked me if we were going to have to fight for it. And
because of your last name?
Because of my last name, yeah. So, and he didn't say which one this was about either. He was just like, "Are we going to have to fight?" And I'm like, "I don't know. Which one did you ask for? Do we have to fight?"
You were the only person he didn't have to fight.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, he knew my position.
But he there was also he didn't get Dullahan's though. That was also one of his top ones.
Yeah.
It was a pretty tricky one, but it all worked out in the end. So hold on, let me see. Where was I? Yes. So that was Red Cap. Living spell. Now, this one is one of those ones that's more complicated, like the intelligent weapon. So Steven might like that. Become a magic spell given life. Study your own formula to unlock greater depths and understand the meaning of your existence. So bogies, they're like, bogeymen, but it's like a family. Become a fey embodiment of fear. Stoke others' fears to strengthen yourself and unlock the true power of nightmares. And then there's Cyclops, become a one-eyed being of myth. Choose your path, Oracle, Shepherd, Smith, or something less classic. Tap into ancient strength. And so the Kraken, obviously, become a cephalopod denizen of the ocean deep. Master the magic of the waves. Release the Kraken. And it had to be in there. For Satyr, one's a kind of interesting one. Become a woodland fae, party up with your Satyr side, or live a quieter life with your fawn side, and choose your own destiny. So that's playing into the fact that Greek Satyrs and Roman fawns were conflated, but they were actually, their personalities were pretty different, even though they were almost the same thing. And so you can kind of go either direction with your character, and it's got those sort of two aspects to it. So Figment, that's justice, become a living dream, perform feats of cartoon logic, explore the limits of your imagination.
Oh, Jess,
And,
you better come through, because my favorite role playing game of all time is Toon, and I love Toon.
Well, I mean, I came through on those Swarmbloods.
you did.
Mhm.
You did.
100%.
I know. That's what I'm like now. I'm actually really excited. I can't wait to see this. I'm like, because I love Toon, and if you can make Toon work in Pathfinder, I might play that instead of a dragon. I'll tell you.
There you go. So Steven is always playing Jazz's Ancestries. So
Yeah,
Dullahan has become a headless fae, serve fate, or live free. So for those of you who follow any of our stuff, capital F Fate is this like deity level embodiment of like the story or the narrative that is worshipped by the She and certain other fae from the fairy realm. And so Dullahan's act, this is Fae Dullahans, by the way, not undead Dullahans. They don't necessarily like the undead Dullahans, but they act as the sort of the messengers of fate, and sometimes the hitmen of fate. When someone is trying to defy their own fate, you might send a Dullahan to be like, no, you have to go where fate is going. But player character Dullahan sometimes defy fate as well. And it says, ride or die with your trusty comrades. So then the last two, Einherjar, become a fallen hero, make the most of your second chance, and prepare for the final battle. And then Ogre. So this is an interesting one, because folkloric ogres don't have a whole lot to go on. But one of the things they go on is they eat stuff a lot. So ogre is going to become a hungry giant, devour your foes to mutate and grow. You are what you eat. So that's ogre. And those are our 13 ancestries.
That's going to be weird. Even
It's going to be very weird. Very weird.
It's like you literally eat things and then mutate based on what you eat. What if you eat a red cap? What if you eat a figment?
That's a really good question.
That's how you become part of each. Part figment, part. Well, anyhow, so there we go.
And people asked, is the one that kind of looks almost ethereal living spell? Yes, they glow. So she's not transparent, but she is glowing because she is magic, and you can see her formulas coming off of her when you see the whole thing.
When you see the whole thing, she's
Like,
covered in runes and like magic. Basically, like the spell is like her body is literally made up of like the spell itself.
Yes, 100%. And then there's someone who said that they love trolls close to classic folklore. Awesome. Are snow souls inspired by Yuki-onna at all? So that is one of the inspirations, but there's a lot of beings that are made out of snow and ice. So I could have just done Yuki-onna, but I didn't want to just be like, well, this is just this Japanese folklore, and they have a very specific story that also has certain elements to it. So I wanted to make something new that was like a combination of many different kinds of snow and ice creatures.
So but it said, the WoW troll. So the WoW troll is actually on purpose, because the difference between trolls and ogres is almost non-existent in most. It's hard to differentiate between them, and people, for better or for worse, are familiar with what trolls look like in WoW. And I actually kind of like the WoW design, and I was actually there when this all happened. Believe it or not, trolls were added at the very last second. There actually were only 6 starting ancestries in World of Warcraft, and at the very last second, they added trolls, and I forgot the other one they added, but that's why trolls didn't have a starting area, because they realized, 6 isn't enough. There were some balance issues, so they quickly added 2 more, and that's why they started off kind of like in the basement, because they didn't have time to actually add them fully to the game, if anyone remembers Vanilla WoW. So, but the design, I remember when I was working with Blizzard, that was also an issue. Like, how do you make trolls different? And so I was like, not all of them look like that. Some of them are more hunched over, and they don't all have the tusks. But I did want to make sure that they looked different than ogres. So it's actually tricky. It's actually hard to make creatures look different from each other, especially because they're so close. Like, if you didn't know, you wouldn't know. So we do have other designs for the trolls that aren't always, but I am going to always give them tusks. So that actually was designed, the one in that cover. And then the bogey, I'm actually very curious because I wrote the bogey for Pathfinder. I wrote the whole family. I wrote the bogey, the boogie, and the buggy, and the
That's
the
right.
boogeyman. The buggyman.
We're going to be going back to the folklore on that one a little bit, just because of the fact that the Pathfinder one that you wrote is OGL.
Yes.
But fortunately, we have the man himself who also wrote that original creature, because only the bogey man existed in Pathfinder 1. And when it went into Pathfinder 2, not only did you have to convert that, you had to write some brand new family members, including the bogey without man at the end, which you wrote new for Pathfinder 2.
Yes,
so
I wrote the whole family.
we've got a lot of bogey knowledge going on here.
Yeah. Yeah, I wrote the bogey, the wogey, and the rock and rolly. Yeah, there's a lot. It's actually pretty interesting because their life cycle is they find children and then they kidnap them and then they come back a few years later and then they are bogeys. And they like sort of convert them into, but they don't have kids. They steal kids and make them. So that is the life cycle. You're so quiet, Jess. Are you excited?
I don't want to interrupt the pitch of the new Year of Titans too much.
You can interrupt it.
What are you excited about for Figments?
Oh, so I mean, I need to go do research for the Figments, so I have to go to Epcot, obviously, because
you go there all the time.
And that's why I have to go and do my Epcot research, because going to Epcot is an important part of most of my writing process.
Really?
It was a very yes. There are specific parts of Rage of Elements that are like, oh yes, this is an idea I had on Spaceship Earth.
Really?
Yes,
That's
yes.
so
There's a
weird.
sidebar. There's a sidebar in Rage of Elements in the air section, and it's the sidebar that talks about Susarin, the remastered non-OGL name for the language of air elementals, and it talks about how air elementals think that the written word is lame and no good, because you should be able to change your mind and revise your opinion at all times. And if you commit something to writing, now somebody can like call you out on how, writing something down traps you.
Yeah, you talked about that on one of our Rage of Elements, but you didn't say you wrote it specifically because of...
Right. So I was on Spaceship Earth, and Spaceship Earth is all about communication and how communication has developed. And it starts off talking about, there's a section talking about like the written word in Egypt. And so this is where I was when I had the idea of, oh, air elementals hate this.
Air elementals hate this one secret. Find out.
Exactly.
Find out now.
This one hack, air elementals hate it.
Click here. You won't believe number 3. You won't believe the last one.
Yeah.
Anyhow, so if people want a free ShadowDark book, talk now. Now is the time. And if people want a free player's handbook, because I just keep giving them out, chat and say why you want it, because now it's getting close to the time, because it's almost been 2 hours.
That's right. The drawing is happening soon.
The drawing is happening.
I'm just really excited about Year of Titans, because I think it's a really strong year, and it has a very tight theme. Like the Year of Legends, they all were legendary, but with the Year of Titans, they're themed and they have some connections to these Titans who were like the failures who lost to the main gods.
Really, I like the legends.
I'm really excited. Obviously, I'm excited about the Figments, but putting that aside, I'm also really excited to see how the living spells turn out, because that is a really good concept that I like a lot.
Are you writing that one, Mark?
So Linda's writing.
Oh, okay, close enough.
Yes, that is one that we had to do in-house, or at least in this house.
Right. Well, that's what I'm like. That's too. Not that it's too complex, but that is.
Yes.
That's going to require a lot of back and forth because
it literally, I was gonna have to do it, but then
very hard.
Since Linda can take it, then I don't have to do it.
Right.
And so I'm doing Titans because it's the sort of the cornerstone of this main story and has to be done soon. Yeah. And then I'm doing Snow Souls because of the fact that I lined up and the number of authors who we could fit on the cover, and they wanted everything except for Snow Souls, and I'm very excited about them anyway. So I was like, I will do Snow Souls.
It's so weird. No Frozen fans, I guess. But
there's so many other options that were just more compelling. Like I could do Snow Souls, I guess, or I could do Figments, and I think a lot of people also thought those Red Caps and the Doulahands were more interesting than the Snow Souls as well. Yeah. It's not that the Snow Souls are bad. I think it's just the way that the preferences of the group of freelancers for this year, the way that it all lined up. I imagine that a lot of us probably were like, I could do one of these things that I'm intensely passionate about, or also the Snow Soul is cool.
Right.
Yeah. Like Cyclops, Troll, Dullahan, and Red Cap all had very, very strong preferences, and I had to run my algorithm to figure it out because there were like nearly 3 stable configurations of handing those 4 out to make sure that everybody got either a first or second ranked choice. That was very important to me. And
oh my God,
I wound up doing something that gave, I think, fewer first, but then nobody had to take their 5th or below, and so I think it worked out better.
That I didn't realize it was this complex.
Those four were really, really popular this year. It was the last time I gave out an assignment like this for Year of Legends. There were some things, like there was a massive competition for Psychopumps, which
comes out next month.
Catalan won, and we're doing that next month. Yeah. Massive. And then there were slightly smaller ones for a few of the other ones, but that was the only time I ever had preferences as strong as the one Jess presented for Figments from multiple freelancers at the same time.
Wait, so what was the most popular one for this? Red Caps?
The ones that were most popular for this were, I think that it was Red Caps, Dullahans, and Trolls. And I say that, but the same person got 2 of those 3, but that was partially because of the fact that Cyclops, which was not quite as popular as those, was just popular enough. And then someone liked Fawn a lot and the other people didn't, so it was easy to put that in there because it was like a 3rd or 4th choice. And then that created a stable configuration, and everything else fell from there.
I could do Titans. If I did it, I would have been Bogey or Titans.
Okay. Well,
I'm not doing
on the list.
Oh, I'm not doing it. I don't time. But if
they were not offered. They were not offered.
I don't want either of them. But if I was doing, I'm just thinking like, because Bogey I already thought through, so I already have a lot of ideas on that.
But if you were on the list of people, you wouldn't have. If you were an external freelancer, you wouldn't have seen Titans because I.
Yeah. Oh, I know you took it, but I was saying, only because I know Kaiju so well. I could probably work on that.
The only problem with you doing bogeys, Stephen, is that you have so many bogey ideas that you already sold to a different company.
That's true.
And so now you have to generate entirely different bogey ideas
I don't remember
that are
any
like
of
a
it.
completely divergent path from the ones that you already sold to a different company.
No, I sold very little.
You kind of might, but I have actually weirdly had that experience before. So the Gunkana, which is like known as like it's like the sweet talker or something like that in Gaelic or something, is a fae. And I wrote a third-party product, and it had like almost no different new fae in it, but one of the ones it had was that. And then I wound up writing a celestial, even though these guys are awful. They're like some of the scum of the earth. But I was assigned there was a chaotic good celestial that was one of them. It was like, it's a Gankana, but it's a chaotic good celestial. So I chose it in dibs because I was like, this could be actually really a problem depending on how it's done, because they are like very mind control you with weird drugs that are in their sweat. And I was like, then this is supposed to be celestial. I want to make sure. Yeah. So I actually put it relatively high in my dibs process to make sure it wasn't like some kind of messed up. And then I
Yeah,
made sure
yeah.
it was very different because it was a celestial, whereas the first one was very faithful to the myth. This one was not as faithful to the myth, though it did include an element from the myth that I just thought was very charming, which is that they love pipes because they think it looks cool, but pipe smoke and other smoke just their weakness. And it's just they just get like choke and get asphyxiated by it.
Mhm.
And so I did include that in both times.
Well, if you're
Oh, that's
interested,
fun.
go to Titans.roll for combat. Only 6 people have signed up. Come on, people. Really? Am I going to be buying this and no one wants it? I guess not. I guess if 6 people signed up, please. Oh, well.
I can't believe you're all putting me out of work like this.
I know. Seriously, what's going on? Why is no one signing up for this? I thought.
How am I supposed to see a Broadway under
I know.
these conditions?
I know. Seriously, how is she gonna go to? Yeah, the service is
Wait a
accessible.
minute, because Book of Mormon, you said
weird.
that your partner wants to go with.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, there is
he-
something wrong with the
Maybe
service.
he'll get
Might or
you a
might
ticket.
not. He probably will if he comes, but he might also decide not to come, in which case I'll just take the train by myself.
If you were
That's
nice,
fair.
I could take you to see something. Maybe. You have to sit indoors. You know that, right?
Yeah, but it's not eating. I can just keep my mask on.
True. That is true. A lot of people
Yeah.
actually wear masks in the theater, so it's very common.
Well, I mean, it's like an enclosed space, and I don't know, like, I feel like most of these Broadway theaters, I've never seen one. So this is just me speculating about something that I have never in my life seen. But I imagine they're probably largely older buildings.
Yeah, but they're modernized.
Okay.
I mean, they're some of them are the seating is very tight. Oh, well,
Yeah.
if you're worried about that, then Wicked is brand new. It's a
Yeah.
massive theater, and you sit pretty far away from each other.
I'm not too worried about it because I can just keep my mask on and it'll be
Sign
fine.
up where? Just go to Titans or Titan, either one, Titan or Titans.rollforcombat.com, or just click on this link because that redirect isn't quite working for some reason. But anyhow, if you go there,
I bet it was an HTTPS versus HTTP. Your redirects sometimes don't work because of that.
that is not my issue.
Oh, okay. Maybe it was something else.
No, because I'm doing this at server side. The other one I know, but this one is actually done. This is done from the domain level, so that should not matter. I have done that
Phoenix
before.
Phoenix Guard says I'm in.
Yeah, no, it is working. No, it was actually
in the
down for me
hacker
too.
voice.
It was down for me. I think I was a backer kid issue, believe it or not. So
Okay.
Oh, fair enough.
yeah,
So
Yeah,
that's why.
don't
That
blame me.
explains
don't
everything.
blame me. It's not my fault. I mean, it is, but not really. Let's see. I'm just trying to see. No, it works. It works. I mean, I'm testing. Let me test. It's what I do for a living. I should know how to do this crap. Let me see. Up now we got 12 people. Ooh, 12 people.
Double.
Woo!
It doubled. And that was after like 5 minutes. If it doubles every 5 minutes, soon every person on Earth will be there.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know about doubles. I'm sure we'll get. No, we get a lot of people who do this in the end. Cats is great. Cats is not great, and it's not on Broadway anymore. So don't see Cats.
Yeah.
You don't have to see it. It's not there.
Yeah.
If you've never
Yeah,
seen Wicked, I would say see Wicked. Wicked is.
Okay.
It's been there 20 years. It's a huge theater. The seats are
Yeah.
all very good. It's an excellent story. Like, it's not like if someone was like, "Oh, go see Aladdin's really good," but like,
Right.
or even The Lion King. I hate to say Lion
heard-
King. It's
I've heard
really
that
good.
The Lion King on Broadway is also really
It's
good.
really good. It's like
Yeah.
you're like, ugh, The Lion King, but then they come out and they're like, and you're like, oh my god, this is amazing. It really is.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
really good. But like back in the day, like Phantom sucks. Don't see Phantom. Like those things suck. I wouldn't see
Yeah,
any
I'm
of that
not-
crap.
I don't think I would see. I mean, maybe for its like
It's gone, so it doesn't
historical
matter.
value,
No, it's
if Phantom
terrible.
were offered, I would see it. But it's not something where I'm like the top ones that aren't on offer that I would see if they were are just Beetlejuice and
I missed
and
Beetlejuice.
Hedwig, and I guess
I still can't believe
Angels
I
in
missed
America. I don't know if
I've
Angels in
seen
America
Angels
was ever.
in America. Yeah, I've seen it
I would
twice
see-
on Broadway.
Yeah,
But it's 8 hours long. So,
yeah, but I would spend 8 hours watching Angels in America. I like Angels in America a lot.
I've seen it twice. Spamalot was the best thing ever. Spamalot
Okay, yeah.
was insane how good it was.
Do
It was
they
an
do-
A plus plus plus, and it closed. I can't.
Yeah.
I'm like, it is. I'm still angry about it. I
I
couldn't
know my
believe how
aunt
good
has
it
seen
was.
Spamalot. Do they do
Ugh.
Spamalot in like Vegas or something?
So good. It was on Broadway, and it had the guy who played the genie as the as Arthur. It was one of the best things, and I've seen everything. This was like a top 5 best shows I've ever seen, and it lasted only a few months. It closed. You can't have good
yeah.
things. Hamilton too, by the way.
Yeah, that's
I've seen it 6 times.
I don't
though.
know.
It's really
know.
good. It's really good.
But there's recordings of
Yeah, that's
Hamilton that
true.
are like supposed to be quite
Les
good.
Mis
And so
is my favorite, by the way. Everyone says here Les
Yeah.
Mis. I've seen Les Mis 5 times, but
Yeah.
it's not playing right now. But Les Mis
Yeah.
is so good. But yeah, no, I'm looking here. Broadway tickets, and then we'll do the giveaway. Actually, I want to see Back to the Future. I heard it's actually pretty good. Oh, you know what's
Yeah.
also really good? Okay, if you're gonna do off Broadway, Little Shop of Horrors is very good.
Okay.
That's very
Oh,
easy to
is
get to, and
that-
it's cheap.
Are they doing that right now?
Yeah,
Is
they're doing
current?
that. It's
Okay.
very good.
Okay, I could do that. I could
The
do that.
Play That Goes Wrong is incredible. It's a British
Okay.
farce.
Okay.
My son he actually was laughing so hard that he fell off his seat when he saw it, by the way.
Yeah.
It's basically just everything. It's just like if you like Monty Python, and that's off
Yeah.
Broadway. Those are 2 very good
Yeah,
ones.
yeah. Okay.
Let's see. Back to the Future. Okay. Hadestown's really
Mhm.
good. Book of Mormon's excellent. Aladdin's pretty good, believe it or not. Michael
Right.
Jackson, it's all right. And Juliet, and Juliet's bad. Sunset
okay,
Boulevard,
okay.
bad. Notebook I didn't see, but I heard it's okay. Harry Potter, it's fine. Outsiders, although that one, I don't think it was that good. Once Upon a Mattress, I saw that was very good. But if you don't like if you don't know who Sutton Foster is, it'll probably get lost on you because that's the whole reason you
Okay.
see it.
Okay.
Lion King's excellent. Hell's Kitchen I didn't
Yeah.
see. Water for Elephants I heard is okay. Wicked's great. Hamilton's
Yeah.
great. Great Gatsby garbage. 6 is very good.
Oh, okay.
Cabaret's okay. I mean, I've seen it. I've seen it like 100 times. Chicago, same thing. I've seen it 100 times. Moulin Rouge is really good, but if you've seen the movie,
Okay.
it's the same. And then
Oh,
Suffs.
okay.
Suffs is okay. So if you're only going to see 1 or 2 things, then I would say just do Wicked. Wicked, you can't go wrong with
Okay.
Wicked, and it's
Yeah.
good. It's really good. I mean, it's there 21 years, and it's like legitimately there because it's not one of those things like if you saw if you saw Phantom, you'd be like, eh. You're like, it was like you saw it because it was there, but
Right. Yeah.
it wasn't that good. But like you see Wicked, you're like, like I've seen it 3 times, and I'll see
Yeah.
it a 4th. It's really good. Into the Woods, it's
Yeah.
not playing, by the way. Someone said
Yeah,
it's not
yeah.
good.
Yeah, I have no need in my life to go to the Phantom of the Opera well of media because the definitive version of Phantom of the Opera for me is Phantom of the Paradise. And I already have Phantom of the Paradise. I need no other Phantom media.
Oh, Heathers the Musical was excellent. I don't think it's
Yeah.
playing anymore, but
Yeah,
that
I
was
didn't see it.
really good. I saw Heathers. I
Yeah,
saw that one.
that would have been in contention if it were
It
currently
was
playing,
good.
definitely.
It was really good. People are like, I've seen. Keep them coming. I've seen everything. It's like if it comes on Broadway, I see it. But believe it or not, I'm not as bad as my sister-in-law because she sees everything on Broadway, off Broadway, and off Broadway. So it could be something that's playing in a theater with 5 people and she's seen it. So there we go. They ever make a play of the producers? Yeah, I saw the play twice actually. That was the producers. It had Matthew Broderick and what's his name? Matthew Broderick and you have to look it up. It was really good. Avenue Q. Oh, Avenue Q's off Broadway too, and that's fantastic. That's
Is that currently playing as well? Or
I
is
think
that
so. I
not?
think it's still good.
Okay.
It's still playing. That's excellent too. That's very.
I've heard that.
It's really good, but it's very much like Book of Mormon. So if you've already seen Book
Right,
of
yeah.
Mormon, you don't need to see Avenue Q. It's the same
Okay.
show. They're very similar.
Right.
So I wouldn't recommend
Okay.
you do that.
Okay.
Oh wait, we still have this up. Let's go back to our third person layout. All right. Is there anything else you want to bitch about with us, Jess? You say how bad we are at anything. Say that like we're terrible at anything that we do here.
Why would she do that?
Why
Steven?
would I do that?
Oh, because I was a little mean to her and I feel bad. So now you could be
Oh.
mean back to me.
Yeah,
I mean,
complain about Steven.
Yes.
Steven is bad at responding to my messages.
That is true. I am bad at responding to your messages.
I was late, but Steven hasn't responded to my Discord messages.
To be fair, I don't respond to everyone's. I get a lot of Discord messages. So, and the problem with Discord, like email, I can organize. So if I don't get an email, I'll go through. So I go through the end of the day, make sure I got them all because I missed some.
Yeah.
But Discord, it's like, if you send me and then 5 people send me a message, yours gets pushed all the way down and then I don't know it's there.
No, I get it.
Yeah.
That's
the
why
problem.
every time I have something to say to you now, I just say it to Mark.
Like, I'm looking right now here. Linda Zayas Palmer has sent me 17 messages on Discord.
Yeah, you told her to do something which she is apparently needed to
No
spend
kidding. I'm like,
over
I told
2
her
to
to do
3
it. I didn't expect
You
her to
needed
really.
to spend over 2 to 3 hours of effort, apparently, giving you all of these map ideas.
Well, I wanted her. Well, I thought she would. I thought she'd enjoy it, and also I thought she would have a good insight. Oh, by the way, I gotta put that. We gotta post your video on the comments.
The one where Linda was laughing and talking about the cool things about all
Yes.
the different monsters.
Yes, your video was excellent
I was
yesterday.
thinking about telling you that you might want to post it on the page like last night or even earlier today. But then I was like, if I do that, Steven's gonna be like, Mark, your lighting sucks, your sound sucks, there's nothing behind you in your room, it's bad. I don't even want it on that page. It'll be associated with us or something like that.
It's true, but the content was good. The content was very good. I don't have the best lighting, but I have a good background. I do have to fix my lighting. That's one thing I gotta do. One day I'll fix my lighting.
You need the single blue light slightly off to the side.
Right. Well, that's the thing is that people have they do the blue, they do the red, blue, and the spot. Like I actually have it, and I used to use it, but it's so annoying to have the light, the focus light, and everything. So I said, screw it. I'll go with it makes my head shiny, but I don't care. So no,
you can feel free. Please put it up on if you want to. On
you should do it as a comment. Do it as a.
Oh, I thought you were saying that you wanted to put it up as like one of those videos at the bottom.
I already
did. I didn't even see that.
I already added it.
By a comment, do you mean an update?
An update, yeah. Do an update.
I can do that. I thought that we weren't supposed to spam people with updates because people get annoyed.
Do it tomorrow.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
Do it tomorrow. Say, hey, if you want to find out a little bit more history.
Only tomorrow was a day when I was going to be not a zombie or alive, I would.
Well, then
I can prepare it today, and then we can press the button tomorrow. How about that?
That's all you need to do.
Okay.
You're gonna have a lot
tomorrow
of time.
I am going to be waking up at 3:45 a.m. so I can get to this special event for Steven that I'm going to demo things. It's going to be awesome. It's just yes. It was fun demoing with the distributors before, and now I'm demoing
once we're there
with those people there. Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
It'll be fine. We gotta go to Fort Wayne, Indiana, for a sales conference. So, blah. Even I'm like, oh,
Steven, but Steven, there's the famed Fort Wayne, Indiana Gardens, which are not only
I've never heard of them.
Not only are they one of the top tourist attractions in the entire city, but they are literally, you can see them from the hotel that we're going to be in. So I'm going to have to go there at some point to try to relax and meditate away my general fear of airplanes that has only increased after Boeing has decided to become a disaster area.
Oh, yeah.
Fortunately, no Boeings on the way here. I say that, but if either of my non-Boeing planes go down, everyone will just laugh at this last video of me where I said,
I won't laugh.
First of
I
all,
will be-
planes are
I will be
so
very
They're so
distraught.
safe.
they
They're
are
safe.
so safe
They're
now.
ridiculously safe.
It's
Hundreds of millions.
ridiculous how safe they
Hundreds
are.
of millions of flights happen,
Mhm.
and you get like 5 to 10 crashes. I get that.
Yeah,
It's like
yeah.
1 in 30 million. Even with
Yeah.
going like who cares? No regulations.
Because
You
it's
press
not
this
even
one button
the
and you
commercial
crash.
flights. Do you know how many flights are flying FedEx and
No, I
packages?
get it.
It's like
I know how
none
safe
of
it
those.
is. I know how safe
None
it is,
of those
but
ever crash.
I can't convince myself because I both have acrophobia overall of
Oh,
heights,
really?
and also just like that it just for the same way that like if you read too many stories or see too many movies or TV shows
Well-
of certain things, I've seen in stories planes always crash, and so my brain has been
Oh, please.
trained to.
Mhm.
Do what I
To
do,
be
which is
afraid of
worse. I know I wanted to try to be a pilot for a while, so I actually know how all the planes work. So I can almost tell based on the sounds. I can definitely feel what's happening, but I can tell what's happening with the sounds of like what they're doing right now with the plane. See, that's the worst thing is don't know how to fly, because if you know how to fly, then well, it's actually usually not so bad because then I know like when we're taking off and landing and like when things are happening. But to be honest, I'm trying to think. I have not had an incident on a plane
I
in
have.
like 25 years, maybe 30.
Oh.
I had a plane, I think last year. I don't know, like depressurize or something.
Oh my gosh!
They
That
had
happened to my
to,
brother.
yeah, they had to very suddenly bring the plane down to
Yes.
like 10,000, under 10,000 feet or
Yes.
whatever.
You can't.
And
yeah, you
everybody,
can't breathe up
everybody
there.
on this plane was like freaking out about the
Yeah.
pain in their ears. But
Did
I don't
anybody
know.
throw up
I have-
when it happened to my brother? People were barfing.
I'm
Yeah.
not sure.
Yeah.
I don't recall anyone throwing up. There were a lot of people who were in a lot of pain and thought that the flight attendants would be able to do something for them, which obviously they can't.
Yep. Yeah, I think it's
my
12,000 feet is approximately. It's a 10 to 12,000 where you can't
Yeah.
breathe anymore.
yeah.
That's why you have to pressurize. So.
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely.
I was fine though. I have
That's- yeah.
I have a very hardy constitution for flying. And so this was one of the times where I was just like, oh, I actually do need to like swallow and pop my ears for once.
I was going to say, I used to have to swallow and pop my ears all the time, but I lived in an apartment building in Manhattan, and I lived at the very top floor, and the elevators were so fast that you would actually have your ears pop. People would go on it, and your ears would actually pop because the elevators went up so fast so
Wow.
quickly.
That's
And
fast.
I lived on that. I lived there for 5 years. So now my ears never ever. I seriously, it desensitized. I never have my ears
Yeah.
pop ever again.
Yeah, this flight where we had to like very suddenly descend is the only time in like, I don't know, the last 5 or 10 years that I've actually needed to pop my ears.
Wow.
So it's
So
yeah.
the only time I've had a flight that legitimately had problems, I don't think it was quite as bad as that, but maybe it was worse because it had to land. It was like going from Boston to Maryland, or actually
Why, I'm
maybe
deaf
the other
now.
way around. And there was a storm that was so bad it was just constantly buffeting the plane. All the lights went out, and they landed in New Jersey. In Newark, just like kind of randomly because they couldn't make it, and then everyone cheered for the captain when we landed safely in Newark. But that was about it
Planes
in
are
terms
insane.
of bad things on a plane. Although I have been stranded in the United Arab Emirates, a country that I never meant to go to in the first place. But that was because another plane didn't take off, and I will never begrudge them saying there's too much fog, so we're not going to do the plane for a day
Yeah.
because there's too much fog
So-
at the destination.
so
I would be like, stay safe. Don't do it until there's not too much fog. I get it.
Yeah.
Casey is saying
Yeah,
it's,
I would for sure rather have my flight delayed or whatever they need to do as opposed to let's fly into a storm.
Yeah, no, so it says here, so Casey's saying 20 to 24,000 where you can't breathe. That's true, but we're also talking on average people, and I know it's 10,000, like, if you're like Olympic, like some people, there's people I've seen. There's this guy who's climbed. I've seen this documentary. He's climbed Mount Everest like 7 times, and he doesn't need oxygen. Like, and that is beyond rare. Like everyone needs oxygen, but he's one of those people. But, like, his blood is hyper oxygenated. But your average
not everybody,
people,
not everybody on a plane is like that. Some people on a plane are like babies.
Right, and that's right. You can, and they usually try to keep it. But I was watching a thing. That's why. Yeah, they have to. And I've been on the planes where they have done that, where they've done the super quick drop, but, it's actually, I don't know. It's, I guess when I was a kid, planes were a lot more dangerous and they're a lot worse. And maybe I got desensitized because they used to really shake and like go crazy. And like, I mean, turbulence was turbulence. Like, they think turbulence sounds like little shaking. I mean, I'd be seeing things flying. I mean, it was nuts. Now they're all computer assisted, these planes, and they're like up. I'm like, I always see them like serving drinks and they're up to the very top and they're full. I'm like, we're in an airplane. Like, maybe we shouldn't be like, serving us drinks like right to the brim. It's like, I'm like, they're going to be going flying somewhere, but they do it. And then everything's fine. I'm like,
no, sometimes they fill the water up so high. And I'm like, I trust you to be able to hand that to me without spilling it. I have total faith in you and your ability to manage this drink because you manage drinks on an airplane professionally. But as soon as you hand that to me and it's my job to hold this thing on this plane now, I don't trust myself to not spill this all over myself.
So it's like Steven has done every job in the entire existence of employment. Pretty much. Yeah. Well, I was a full-time freelancer. That's the thing. People are like, because I never, ever worked for someone. I've never worked for anybody in my life. And if you don't have a full-time job working for someone, you get to do a lot of things.
You have a background in everything. I remember from our early streams where you kept saying you had a background in so many different things that we decided to create like a Steven ancestry that one of its features is that it has like 5 backgrounds. Well, and it doesn't add attribute boosts from all 5 of the backgrounds. That was very important. There was a way that it worked out that it replaced your ancestry boosts with an additional background boost. You only got your favorite 2 of the 5 backgrounds, but you still got all of the skill bonuses and skill feats from the backgrounds.
Well, I work for myself, so I'm always working. And B, I worked in Manhattan. And everything is in Manhattan, like everything. It's, everything you could imagine, every type of industry, especially in the 90s, was in Manhattan. So it was very easy to try out everything. and I was a full-time freelancer. And back then, you had to work in-house. So I would work in these companies for a while doing computer stuff. And then I'd be building websites or doing interactive work. It was basically like advertising. And when you're in advertising, you learn a lot about these industries, because if you're in advertising, which is really what I do, you have to understand the industries so that you can advertise for them. Like I do a huge amount of pharmaceutical. That's our biggest one. And if you don't know how pharmaceutical works at a very high level, you can't talk to doctors. You can't talk to nurses or hospitals. Yeah. So you need to understand these things. So that's kind of why I know so much about these industries, because you're forced to learn about them. So not that I'm explaining myself, but I'm kind of explaining myself. He's like, you can do anything in New York City. It's kind of, it's going to be the year of Steven after the year of Titans. That would be pretty good. They'd be all versions of me. No one would want that. Except me.
Some kind of weird luck fae.
That would be me. That would be a luck fae. That would be. All right, let's pick some winners. Okay, who wants to win a ShadowDark book? You will win a ShadowDark book. You're not going to win this one. You're not going to win the gold one.
I thought they were going to win Baron's copy of
They're
the
not
gold
winning
one.
Baron's. The
He
one
said
that's
he refused.
custom signed to me. No one else wins that one. But let's see. If you're still here, Ian Sharp. Are you still here, Ian Sharp?
I saw Ian Sharp a little while ago. I don't know if he's still here.
Ian Sharp.
Ian Sharp.
Ian's
here. He won. Again, he wanted to reiterate that he wanted it.
Ian, you won. Okay, so Ian, this is all you need to do, Ian.
He's very happy. He wrote all caps.
Yes.
Which one did Ian win?
The ShadowDark
whatever
one
Kelsey sends him.
Yeah, the ShadowDark
It's the regular one. It's the regular one.
But I just mean there's 2 giveables, right?
Also no.
No, you're gonna win. You're gonna win the boring. Here's the boring one. You get to win the boring one.
It's still cool though.
I know it's still cool. So you still win. You know,
All
the,
right.
the cool. Okay, so Ian,
So
send
who
me
wins?
your contact info to contact@rollforcombat.com. I'll send it to Kelsey, and then I'll CC you, and you guys will figure it out.
So what
Ian,
about the 5e one though?
Yeah, Ian, congratulations. I will get over my disappointment
You can.
somehow.
I'm sure Kelsey will send you a book.
Ian, if you're in New York, Jess is gonna be there, and she may mug you for the
Yeah.
ShadowDark book. So watch out.
I might hunt you down for this book. Yeah.
Ian Sharp
We'll
lives in
see.
New York.
No, I said
No,
if
just
he-
hypothetically.
If he
Oh.
was in New York,
Oh,
Yeah.
I completely made it up. I have no idea where he is.
Yeah.
yeah. Well, I'm not giving out the shadow book. I don't have any. That's all Kelsey. That's Jess. Yeah,
Yeah.
Jess is gonna be
The real question is, given that red caps like to stab you, would you say that Jessica Redcap or Ian Sharp is more likely to be someone who is related to red caps?
I don't know. That sounds like a knife fight. Jessica doesn't have a red cap though. I'd like to see that red cap.
Well, she has red lighting.
No, she has blue lighting.
Oh,
No,
No,
but
I
it
had
changed
it
to
red-
red at some point.
I
And
had
then
it read
people
for a
said
little
it's
bit.
Jessica Redcap, and they
Yeah.
did.
Oh, look at that! It's red.
When
Yeah.
she turned red.
Now you look evil,
Yeah.
as opposed to other times where you look evil. All right, now this is the last one. I don't know if I'll be able to send it out to you because I'm going on a plane tomorrow and I won't be back till Monday, and I'm actually really busy on Monday. Jason Frawley, Frawley, Frawley. If Jason Frawley's here,
Is Jason Frawley still here? Let's
you
check.
won. I saw
Let's
him
check.
before earlier.
I saw him at some point,
If
but I'm
Jason's
not
here,
sure if he's still
if
here.
you're not here, you don't get it. I have
Yeah, if
backups.
he's not
though.
here, someone else is gonna get it.
That's
So
right. That's right.
Jason.
Well, we'll see. Takes a little while. Jason Frawley.
we can open up the attached file. It's a .json.
I'm sure he's never heard that joke before. By the way, every time I pick someone for the player's handbook, the person's not here.
That's true. Where ShadowDark they were. What does that tell you about ShadowDark? and
People
how-
really,
Obviously, Steven,
it
you
tells
were
you.
right.
I
You
was
were
right
all
that people
along. This
ShadowDark
proves-
is beating Pathfinder. I mean Pathfinder 5e. I
Steven,
told
you have scientifically proven that it
Scientifically
must be the
proven
D&D
it.
killer.
I have. It's
It's
totally
a great,
correct.
awesome game, but
See
it's
if he's
not
here.
because nobody's going to be the D&D killer except possibly Hasbro,
I know.
and that will be in some time
Hey man,
in the future.
you gotta bring the heat. If you don't bring the heat, you don't get the fire. You don't get people. What am I gonna do? Like if I just said interview
If you
with
just
Kelsey,
said that
we would have
Kelsey's
had
gonna be there
50
and
people.
There's Jason.
Oh, he's here.
Oh, he's
Jason.
there. He's
There
there.
he
Jason,
is.
you
He's the
won.
first
Do you not
one to
want the
be
book?
there.
Were you not paying attention?
No, he came on there.
I know. Well,
If
I
you
had to
said that
ping
Kelsey
him.
was going to be here and that you were going to make a surprise secret announcement.
He had a call from
Molly.
work. Oh,
Oh.
Jason. Well, what you guess you don't want the book?
No, he wants
I'm a
the
professor,
book,
and a student
Jason.
called me. Okay.
No, that makes sense.
That
but you could tell the student.
okay.
"Hey,
That's a
hang
good
on,
excuse.
I know your thesis is
That's
on
a
the
good
line,
excuse.
but I'm gonna
What
get
are you
a player's
professor
handbook.
of? Actually, I'm very curious. Now I'm actually very curious. What are you? What do you teach? Professor of history.
History.
I love
Oh,
history.
man.
I'm. What type of history? I'm like one of those weirdos who knows way too much. You know what I've noticed, Jason? Nobody, and I mean nobody, knows history anymore. It is
hard to find
criminal. It is criminal how bad history is now. It is ridiculous how
Steven,
bad.
do you know the
history
game
is.
Wavelength? Where like
I've heard of
you're
it.
on a spectrum of options like between hot and cold, and so the clue giver sees exactly where the dial needs to go, and then they have to give one clue to decide where it is, and then
Mhm.
everyone argues with and discusses with each other about where to put it based on that. We had one that was like really like it was about like whether it was a major in college that was like really popular and did a lot of things or not, and history was in there, and there was the discussion for that was one of the longest wavelength discussions I think we ever had, because it's like history is so important because of like just for not repeating history and being doomed to repeat it, and for culture and other people being like, well, but history though, like it goes into being a historian, but there's so few jobs on the job market for that, or a history professor. And it was just a really fascinating, weird thing.
I like history, and I know a lot about. It was actually one of my best subjects in school. Actually,
History's
I'm trying to think. Actually, all my subjects were kind of good. Wait, he said he did a Gettysburg.
Gettysburg dissertation.
Yeah, that's pretty hardcore. I know a bit about Gettysburg. I used to play the Gettysburg, the video game. Remember that? That actually was a pretty good game.
Wow. Steven, I think Joseph Pilkus said in chat that he backed the Kickstarter at $99,570. Does that mean that like all of our money is from Joseph?
That would be pretty impressive if he did.
Or maybe he backed it when it was at $99,000.
I think that's what he meant. But if you want to back it at that amount, I won't stop you. If you want to back it at that amount,
Steven will fly you to New York and he'll show you about a Broadway show.
I will bring you to a Broadway show.
And then Steven will take you to Broadway instead of me.
Yes. You could write your own.
Literally bring you there, and he won't have told Jess that he was going to cancel. So
and I'll stand outside. I'll stand outside and I'll watch the theater from the outside while you see Broadway with Steven.
And be like, hey man, hey, well. That would be.
I'll wait in line for my pizza the entire time.
That pizza will be worth it, though. You're gonna be like, you know what? I had to wait in line for pizza, but it was worth it. I can't. Yeah, that's true. I don't know which is better, New York pizza or Broadway. I can't tell. I'm actually in trouble in this game. So anyhow, Jason in Texas, send me your information, just contact@rollforcombat.com, and I will Sketchosaurus Rex is here, by the way. He won a free book. There's a couple of people in here who won free books.
The free book squad is here. They're gonna start their own D&D revised. Is that the new name for it?
Yes.
The 5e revised game.
The official name.
With only the players who won the free books from Steven's giveaway.
Yeah, it could be. You could be the well, we used to. I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna say it. I'm gonna say we used to have a club in but it's probably it's from the 80s. It's probably a little too risque. Things in the 80s were very not PC. We'll leave it at that. So, and we were kids at the time. The Stephen Glicker New York City experience. You know what? I used to be able to do that because I lived in Manhattan for like 17 years, but I'm pretty rusty because my friend came in from LA and he and I hung out in Manhattan, and I definitely was rusty. And the thing about Manhattan is it changes so frequently. If you're not in there on a constant basis, it is like a lizard shedding its skin. Like every few years, you don't even recognize. Like I'm like, I don't recognize anything. It's completely different at this point, and it actually is. It changes so frequently, and not just like part of the city, like all of the city, Where I used to live, I actually went up there, and it was like all my favorite places, all the favorite food, all the places gone. They're all gone. It's not like, one or two gone. No, all of them. Every single one is gone. It was like terrible. I was like, oh my God. I mean, it's
expensive to be there. So it makes sense that there's going to be turnover.
Well, what happened is a lot of the very small places in Manhattan have been getting bought up by large conglomerates, and then they build huge buildings. So it's that's basically what's happening. So, and then they do have small so it used to be like tiny, like lots of little buildings. So now then they bought them all up. They buy at the block. They build a huge building, and then they have little storefronts. But it's all within a large building. So those are all gone. So when I was in there in the 80s, 90s, 2000s, it was all still. It was like it used to be like in the movies. Like you see in the movies, you're like, oh, it's all this tiny stuff. That's all gone. That's in Europe. Okay, Europe still has that. Manhattan does not. It very like the Upper East Side, Upper West Side, that still has it. But Midtown, downtown, parts of the Village, but it's all getting destroyed. It's all getting bought up. Even the Village is all getting messed up. But oh well. Anyhow, so 2 people won. Well, when are you going to know when you're here, Jess?
I don't know, like when I decide.
All right, if you come, just let me know. I will come
going
and
to Vermont.
I will hang out with you and your boyfriend if you want.
Yeah,
And if you
because I'm
don't
going to
want-
Vermont tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
And I'm in Vermont for, in theory, the rest of this week and all of next week.
Okay.
And because I feel like I could just make an impulsive decision about the train, I haven't fully decided yet when exactly I'm doing this.
Got it. Well, I'm not here till I'm away.
Yeah.
So, by the way, look at this. I work with the.
Steven's going to be with me in Fort
I
Wayne.
know.
Until
We're gonna be
he's
Fort
going to come
Wayne.
back on Sunday.
I'll be back on Sunday.
Oh, yeah.
So look
yeah,
at this. I got all these dice things. Look, this is what the company sends me. Look, and then they sent me examples for other Kickstarters of things to give away.
yeah.
They give this stuff for free. They sent this for free, and they did this one, but I already did this one. But this
Yeah,
one I've
so
never seen
Steven-
before. Yes.
Steven, when I finalize my plans, I will tell Mark to tell
Yeah, I
him
was
what
about
I'm
to
doing.
say, because if you were going to say when you finalize your plans that you were going to send
Yeah.
Steven a Discord message, I said, that's
Yeah.
great. He won't respond to you.
That's right.
Yeah, he won't get back
No,
to me.
being
So
the
I'll just
being the Steven
I'll tell
Whisperer is part of my job
Yeah.
because I am like, I'm the middle person between Steven and the freelancers for a lot of the
Mhm.
production process, but Steven is
Yeah.
directly responsible for the money. So
Mhm.
that means that I will talk to Steven. I'll be like, hey, Steven, contracts haven't gone out yet. And like, Steven will tell
You
me,
don't need
Mark, after the stream, send me the outline so I can put the all of the specifications into the contract. And I'll say, don't worry, Steven, you talked about musicals for so long during the stream that I already sent it.
I know. I saw it. People
Yeah.
like to hear about musicals, so they're
I
not
liked
anymore.
it.
Everyone
I liked
left.
it, but I
Everyone
didn't have
left.
anything to contribute because I don't know about it. So I listened and paid attention just in case I ever need to know about that. But I also was able to take enough time and send it to you, whereas I thought I would have to wait until after the stream.
Someone's saying you should post a comment to vote on the next stretch goal and pin it like before. Someone said, because we have a new stretch goal. So on our if you we'll do this and then we'll go. Is that if you go to God, there's too many Kickstarters.
Yeah, you run out of special links because you have too many Kickstarters.
I have to remember what it was. Kickstarter rollforcommon.com. We have it where you vote on the stretch goal, and the stretch goal that won was
The stretch goal that won is the new elemental spell. So our first one will be that. Then the second one is going to be the additional Monster Hunter expansion because it was very close. But now you're voting for third versus fourth place. And potentially we might even, after the third place, mix things up if it's a blowout. And right now the vote is between a expanded monster part crafting, so you can go beyond just the only 60 elemental paths for the 20 elements and get some more use out of these monster parts from the elemental monsters, or expanded digital maps for all the digital maps tiers, plus one unique to the Kickstarter digital map that everybody who pledges $30 or more gets, whether or not you're a digital map tier. So
The
that
digital maps look really cool.
They're really good. The
I
guy
really like how it has the variants. So there's like, this is the Fey Woods, but this is like the
Mhm,
blighted
mhm.
Fey Woods.
Yeah.
We I started doing it. Well, they're in the dragon. Did you saw the dragon book, right? Did you see the dragon book?
Has just seen the dragon book.
Wait,
I doubt
which one?
The one the
it.
fairy
The fairy
dragons?
dragon book. Steven,
No.
Steven, you rarely send out the books to the actual authors who
Ugh.
were on that book.
Shh.
I've seen
I'm bad.
Stormlight.
I'm bad. Well, because also they're digital. If they bug me, as soon as they do, I bugged. You
In fact,
just
I actually only get the books like for like if you were like, I want you to check this to make sure there's something not something bad for final checks. And sometimes
Boo.
not even for that. And
Boo.
then I would just but I have the InDesign file, so it's not like I can't read them.
oh god, just everyone bug me because half of the stuff is digital too. Because we have a lot of digital files, so it's a little harder for me to. Okay, if you're an author from Roll for Combat, just yell at Mark, and I will give Mark everything, and then he'll give it to you. There you go.
Oh, am I allowed to give it to people?
The authors, of course.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I've always thought that when I shared things with the authors that I had to share excerpts, but that's good to know.
Well, once
in
it's
that
done,
case,
you can.
so in that case, that's fine. Then I will do that.
Actually,
I will give it to people. I'll
Oh.
proactively find people and knock on their doors and give them their stuff.
Got it. Well, Jess, you see, you bugged me for
I'm
Swarm,
gonna
and I
give
gave it to
Fairy
you.
Dragons to Jessica Catalan and Hannah.
Okay.
You can't stop me.
I never.
Actually, you could. You would just tell me that I can't do that.
No, you can give it to them.
Okay.
I'm kind of pretty sure they did.
These fairy dragons look great.
That's what I'm saying. Think about how good yours are
Yeah.
going to look. How crazy is that? That we did a new layout.
Also going to look great.
It's a new layout, a new design. Do you see that? We did like a little intro with a little like hand drawn, like little.
Of course, the kelp dragons are going to be the most fabulous with their artistic collections and their.
Yeah.
Steven's the money and Mark is the face. I don't know about that.
When it comes to the
behind the scenes,
the freelance authors,
behind the scenes, 100%.
Yeah.
I would say yes.
Oh yeah, 100%.
But that's not true when it comes to making like partners and connections
Yeah.
business
Oh, God,
wise.
no.
Because of the fact that Steven is incredibly good at doing that, and I just do not want to bother anybody.
No.
And so I have trouble talking to someone, just cold call, talking to them and being like, hey, you're a person who has never seen me before and you have no idea who I am. Let me tell you why you have to do this thing I want you to do. Like, whereas if someone wants to talk to me, I won't shut up.
Yeah. I would say that Steven is the face of the company external and the face of the company to other companies, whereas Mark just has a job that includes game design, but also being a manager.
Well, that's on purpose because he has to manage the writers. He doesn't. He doesn't do any of the art. Like I do all the art.
Yeah. No. Steven connects to so many artists that it's more people overall because of that. But yeah. And it is in my contract that I connect with the freelancers, which is.
But you like that.
Important.
You like working with the freelancers.
Yeah. Well, I want to make sure that we always take care of our authors from the production perspective. And so it was important to me for it to be in my contract when I was starting out, not just because of the fact that like I wanted it to be in my contract. I asked for it because that way it's not just a responsibility, but it's also like a privilege or a power of the position. And it means that I have a role to do that.
All right. Well, I gotta go because I gotta pack. And I have to pack all the books, Mark. So I have no idea how I'm gonna bring all the books to Fort Wayne because they're gonna be goddamn heavy. So.
Yeah. All of the things you printed out, which look super awesome, are pretty heavy, and there are a lot of them. So it's single-handedly ensured that it's gonna take more space than I thought to get over there, but we'll see.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm not even bothered. I mean, well, the books are so heavy, I have to do a carry-on. I mean, a carry-on.
Well, I've got to do a carry-on.
I mean,
if I'm lucky, I won't have to check.
No, I mean, I have 2 carry-ons, but I'm gonna have to check because the books are just they're way too heavy. They're too heavy.
All right.
So,
well, everybody, thanks for watching. Jess, thanks for joining us, just kind of randomly in the middle. I think
Thank you for having me.
The best shows are the ones where we just randomly have extra guests that come in from the stream.
Last week was crazy.
That was wild. Did you see, Steven? It was our most watched episode in like 4 months.
I know. That was a crazy episode.
So many people just came, even though it just was like very vague about what it was about and had no description.
Well, next week's episode, I'm just going to have it. Anyone can be on the show, even you. That's what it's going to be called. It's just going to be like, I'm just going to randomly, it'll be like The Price is Right. And just take people out of the audience and just put them on the
Showcase Showdown.
That's right. Anyone can be on the show.
So, all right, everyone. Until next time, if you want to battle the zoo, you have to roll for combat. Take care, everybody.